White. Wide open Torrence! Oh, baby! Touchdown! How do you leave the best receiver in the NAIA that wide open?
You show, and that's what we do! Cash!
You're proud of me?
And it's caught! Oh my goodness! Troy Torrence comes down with it!
Welcome all to Bankroll Blitz. It is week 7 of the NFL season. It's all moving so fast. But we got that cash this past week. Troy and I combined to go 26-14 plus 10.56 units in week 6. It was my best week of the season. I needed it. It was a monster. Started Thursday when we went 6-0 in college football. And then just carried it through the week. And I want more. Anytime I start winning, I start being sharper. I stop reaching. I stop risking as much. Everything works for me when I'm winning. And when I'm losing, those are when more errors take place, taking bigger shots and taking bigger risks. So I'm so pumped up to be here right now alongside my co-host and the leader of our NFL programming here on Pub Sports Radio, Troy Torrence. Troy, how are you, my man?
Jimmy, you're not just having a little small stretch of good luck. You have a sustained run where you are dominating. This is going back to March. You've been crushing the books. Keep the shit up, man. You're a snowball going downhill. For me, this is my damn flu game. I feel like I'm about to throw up on my desk in front of me. So work with me. I got the sweats, but I'm ready to go, man. I cooked through all these games.
I respect the battle. I'm sorry you're not feeling well, but I respect your fight as I always have. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We got Mike 21, Gerald Jones, Random Bozo, Jermaine, Luke Burrow, D Jenkins, Dougie Wise, Zoe Cold, Aaron Gaza, TJ, AM, the Nuke Worker. It is wonderful to see all of you guys. Thank you for being here with us. The week that was great. The Dolphins, second biggest bet of the year, fading the Chargers, 9.5 units, fading the Chargers last 2 weeks. Miami plus 4.5 cash. Miami first half plus 3.5 cash. I told you guys I would hammer it live. I hammered it live with full unit plus 6.5. There was multiple units not on the first half was just the 1 unit, but there was multiple units on the full game, and it was just important. So Miami plus 4.5 cash, Miami plus 3.5 cash. Philadelphia double result lost. Steelers double result cashed. Panthers plus 3.5 cashed. Rams minus 7 cashed. Rams double result lost.
Wait, what was the first double result you said?
Eagles.
Fuck.
The Bears plus 4.5 cashed. Bears team total over 20.5 cashed. Philly, New York Giants over 40 cashed. Jets plus 7 cashed. Tampa Bay minus 3 cashed. Atlanta plus 4 cashed. Then I added the unders in Dallas, Carolina. First half under, full game under. That was loss. I added the under 46.5 in Arizona, Indianapolis. That lost. I added double up unders on Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Full game under 38, which cashed. Cleveland, Pittsburgh. First half under 19.5. That cashed. And KC minus 2.5. That cashed. 14-5 plus 8.14 units. But that just gets me in the black. That's all it does. I'm in the black. I want more. So I'm ready to attack. Troy, talk to us about the week that was for you.
My week started terribly. Let me click over to the show's action because my live action has been terrible. Been pretty bad. But Eagles started with the double result. It was right there with you. Had the Eagles teased with 3 other teams. All of those would have hit, but the Eagles didn't get the job done. So I started off 0-4 down 4.85 units. A.J. Brown cashed that night. I went back to the squeaky wheel. He got it done pretty easily. Jets plus 7.5. I was extremely fortunate to have cashed that bet to the point where I think there might have been something going on, to be honest, with Bo Nix, but they got the job done, Bo Nix. We'll talk about that game later. Cowboys minus 3, minus 105. That lost. That could have been a winner. Colts, Seahawks teaser. I got the job done there. The Browns plus 6, which I actually, for the show, it only shows up as 1 U. I did have 2 units bet on this game. Was not good. Steelers team total under pushed. The Seahawks, which was one of my favorite spots of the day of the week, cash. I doubled up on that spot, won both of them. Patriots, Colts, moneyline parlay was a winner. Patriots minus 3 was a winner. Titans plus 5.5 was a clear and evident losing bet. Luckily, I avoided doubling up on that spot like the market would have indicated historically. but I kind of seen that one coming. Bucks Colts money line was a casher. Bucks Lions plus 8.5 was a loser. The Lions got crushed. I also had them plus 3 on the spread, was a loser. Then I tripled up on the Falcons in a beautiful spot. Had a great read. I had plus 4.5, plus 4, and the Falcons money line plus 180. Won all those, and then finished up with the Bears plus 4.5. Was getting pretty frustrated towards the end of that game, thinking this goddamn line closed 5.5. I think that this number is a dead zone. It don't matter. Well, it does matter nowadays. So luckily they got the win, so I didn't have to sweat it. I thought I was going to lose by a hook with the 4.5, but yeah. So I finished up this week 2.42 units. Was a pretty solid week. If it wasn't for the Eagles coming out the gates so terrible, it was just a bad way to start. Finished very strong.
I love it. I love it. We destroyed Monday. Your Falcons money line was a thing of beauty. I love it. Let's carry on the momentum right now.
Jimmy, we should when I bet a team on the money line above plus 150, the ROI is over 100%. It's ridiculous.
I love it.
Past 3 seasons.
I love everything about it. Thank you guys for joining us. It is time to attack. We got T-Nut in the house, Birdie joining us, Vincent Hawkins. It's great to see all of you guys. Occupancy here in the house. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Let's get to work. Thursday night football. Join us for our live stream right here on Pub Sports Radio. Speaking of live streams, 22-9 on our live stream so far this year. It's just all coming together. Pittsburgh Steelers, 4-1, 2-0 on the road at Cincinnati Bengals, 2-4, 1-1 at home. Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio, 56 Fahrenheit, clear, 2-mile-per-hour winds. It is a beautiful weather for football. The Steelers are minus 5.5 right now. The look ahead was a flat 4, and then it comes out on Sunday morning as a 4.5. Right now, it's a 5.5. So we've seen it move 1 point towards the Pittsburgh Steelers. From a total side of things here, we have a 43.5, which feels high to me, but perfect conditions. The look ahead was 43. Then it opens up at 43 on Sunday morning. 43 moves quickly to 43.5, drops down to 42.5, and then comes up to 43.5. So very interesting market movement. I needed a sign from the Browns-Steelers game because it had gone all the way up to 39. I didn't get a sign that the under was the move until 30 minutes before kickoff when I moved on the first half and the full game under. WY says, I think the Steelers should win by at least a touchdown. And TJ saying this is going to start a few parlays for him. I'd love to hear what that is. And great to see Sammy Calmer, Jared TG.
I like the sound of that, T.
So let's roll here. Let's roll. Let's take a look at this cash flow for our Thursday nighter. 59% of the tickets, 65% of the cash on Pittsburgh. We have 56% of tickets on the over and 67% of cash on the over. We're going to start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pro Football Focus ranking them 27th passing offense and 27th rushing offense. Their third down offense is 20th. They only convert 38.6% of the time. What are they doing well? The red zone. Aaron Rodgers looks in complete control. He's got that big receiver in DK Metcalf. He's got running backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield, and they're at 71.4% touchdown rate. That's 6th in the NFL. For defense, their passing defense ranked 12th, their rushing defense 14th, their third down defense 18th. That's sort of how I see the Steelers. But we know they were coming off of their bye week. They were getting healthier. They had big players return from injury, and they looked very good. Their pass rush ranked 4th, and their red zone defense also ranked 4th. They're coming off that 23-9 victory at home over the Browns. The noise-canceled score, though, was 21-17. It was much closer than the 23-9 look that we we're reading about. The Steelers have now beaten the Browns at home in the regular season 22 straight times. So it was just that crazy playoff game in 2020 when the Browns took out Pittsburgh. Other than that, they haven't won in Pittsburgh since 2003. It's insane. Rodgers was 21-30 for 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. DK Metcalf caught 4 passes for 95 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Warren ran 11 times for 52 yards, caught 2 passes for 11 yards. The offense was just 5 of 13 on third down. They only made 1 red zone appearance, and they cashed it. They ran 17 less plays than the Browns, but won the time of possession battle. It's something they're doing very well. And also, we got to see Broderick Jones. We got to see why he was the first-round pick for the Steelers in 2023. He was on Rodgers' blind side. That's his first start on Rodgers' blind side. And, of course, he was going up against Myles Garrett, and he did not allow Garrett to sack Rodgers. Rodgers was not sacked in the game. Broderick Jones looked very, very good. The defense was excellent, holding the Browns just 3.3 yards per play, held them to 0 of 3 in the red zone, 8 of 21 on 3rd and 4th down. Pass rush looked very strong, 6 sacks, 16 quarterback hits. Now, they did lose a safety, maybe more of a depth safety, and a special teamer in Miles Killebrew. He's out indefinitely with a knee injury. Darius Slay left with a shoulder injury, and he's listed as questionable this week. Let's start with the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I would say that this is not the role we want them in. On the road as a big favorite. Saying that, I think they're still capable, but this is just not the role I want them in. So let's start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Troy Torrence, take it away.
I went into a rabbit hole with this Steelers-Browns game. You mentioned it, the noise-adjusted score 21-17. My noise-adjusted score, I had to go back and rewatch this game because I was like, am I being biased? I see what PFF is posting. I think that's too generous. So what is it? It's a 4-point game. Am I really going to be complaining about a game like this? I went back. I did my noise-adjusted score being 17-12. Obviously, they had the running into the kicker that, they ended up having a long, sustained drive in the second half, led to a touchdown. And there's a 3rd and 2 pass, a 3rd down, 2 yards. They passed it to Washington. It was an illegal formation. And Myles Garrett was pulled down by his face mask, and it wasn't called. Outside of that, I thought it was a pretty damn good performance, and I think that Aaron Rodgers kind of showed me a lot in this game because I was down on him. I thought he would have to hold on to the ball a little bit longer, being he was going to be up against man coverage. And versus man coverage, he's been horrible. But they had the week, they had the bye week, they had a time to prepare for this defense, and they certainly were very, very prepared. And I think a lot of that had to do with Aaron Rodgers. But up until this point, it's crazy. They got another weak matchup. They've had one of the weakest, if not the weakest. I think they're bottom 5 in strength of schedule per PFF. I think they should have lost to the Jets in week 1. They got stomped by Seattle in week 2. They benefited from 5 turnovers and beat the Patriots in week 3. They squeaked by Carson Wentz and the Vikings. And then they beat the Browns in, looking back at it retrospectively, an ideal spot. Off a bye week versus a rookie quarterback and a team traveling back from overseas. I think it was Ireland. But I think there's a clear difference between the Bengals and the Browns this week. This Steelers team is not very explosive at all offensively. I don't think they're very capable of being able to just obliterate teams, meaning I think the back door is going to be open perpetually when they're laying big numbers, especially on the road, especially in division. I don't have too much with the Steelers team. I do think the defense has looked better over the past few weeks. But I mean, they haven't really played a lot. And the only good offense they've played, they benefited from 5 turnovers, and most of those, I think 4 of the 5 were fumbles. So not replicable, turnover situations there. So yeah, I'm not very high on the Steelers team. I think they're a complete sell.
I do too, but I don't know if the Bengals are a buy. Passing offense ranked 23rd, rushing offense ranked 31st, red zone offense ranked 2nd in the league, 76.9%. Again, that's, with 3 different quarterbacks. 3rd down offense 23rd, passing defense 26th, rush defense 27th. It's ugly. Red zone defense 30th, 3rd down defense 29th. This is a really horrible group. Pass rush is 21st. They come off their 4 straight loss, 27-18 setback at Green Bay in Flacco's first game with the squad. The noise canceled score there was 29-17. So it's not as if they had some bad bounces. The Bengals were outgained 240-65 in the first half. It's the 4th straight game where they have not scored a touchdown in the first half. Flacco was 29-45 for 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Jamar Chase caught 10 for 94 and a touchdown, but this running game continues to struggle. I was screaming at Chase Brown. I don't understand what's happened, and I guess Samaje Perine, I don't think is an RB1. Chase Brown has to step up. The two of them combined to run 15 times for 58 yards, catch 4 passes for 23 yards. The Bengals only put up 4.3 yards per play, but they did go perfect 2 for 2 in the red zone. The defense did not look good. I mean, they allowed the Packers to rack up 409 yards, 6.8 yards per carry. Packers went 3 of 4 in the red zone. The pass rush was quiet. Not only was it quiet, but Hendrickson left the game with the back bruise. So did Mike Gesicki as well. Gesicki's going to be out for multiple weeks. to add the problem with Gesicki being out, Tanner Hudson's in concussion protocol. So there's 2 tight ends that, well, we know Gesicki won't be there, but maybe Tanner Hudson won't be there as well. So, I mean, is Trey Hendrickson going to be there? I mean, if Trey Hendrickson is not there, Rodgers is going to get to do whatever he wants. Now, he's been getting the ball out, like you mentioned, very quickly. He's not been holding on for too long. He's not been putting himself in vulnerable spots. Of course, we're coming off a game where he didn't get sacked. But if there's no Trey Hendrickson, there's no pass rush whatsoever. And so, again, tomorrow's injury report is crucial. If there's no Trey Hendrickson, I don't even know if I can bet the under, although I want it. So talk to us about the Cincinnati Bengals.
I actually, I capped this game and I came back to it after getting through the slate because I did want to bet the Bengals. I kind of wanted to tie up the loose ends, and then it just started to come to me. I mean, this team has been obliterated by injury. They continue to be. Now they're getting hit on the defensive side of the ball, so we'll see how that plays out. But we insert Flacco, and we actually see a competent offense, a team that was actually competitive. He only took one sack. And guess what? I mean, this is a guy who already seen that Green Bay defense once. He was able to cover the spread. He actually distributed the ball to all the playmakers. Like, I'm certain that offense feels life for the first time in weeks. I'm absolutely certain about that. And there's something to be said about this spot for Joe. I mean, yes, he's second game with the new offensive coordinator and a new playbook. He's going to get more accustomed, more comfortable with it. That's true. But it's an easier defense to prepare for when you consider that Flacco's familiarity with this division and with Tomlin himself. When this trade went down, Tomlin went live in an interview, and he started crying like a little baby when he heard this trade news. Why did they trade him in division? He was all upset and pissed off. It seemed like he was a little bit scared, to be honest. And I stick by what I said. I think this Steelers team is a fade until further notice. Look at the Bengals. Their strength of schedule is significantly better than who the Steelers have seen. They're coming off games against Green Bay, Detroit, and Denver. The Steelers team is weaker than all 3 of those teams in many facets of the game. I think that Flacco is going to be able to keep us within the number, and I moved on the Bengals +6. I bought up to a half a point to the 6 at -120.
Bengals +6. Bengals +6 -120. I keep coming back to wanting to be on the under in this football game. Yes, the weather is perfect, but in a divisional battle like this, the concern, and I see Birdie on the under, the concern, and Drewski on the Bengals money line. Wow, the concern I have here is that it's such a high opening number. It's so much higher than I'm used to. Even if this was Joe Burrow at quarterback, I mean, would this open up at 44.5 and start dropping? I mean, what do you make of this opening line for the total? 43.5 with these 2 teams, makes me extremely uncomfortable. It's just so much higher than I would imagine it to be. What are your thoughts on the total?
I know that the total has historically, when it's moving, is it moving? Yeah, it has. It's moved up 2 points. 2 points now.
It's bounced all over the place, really. The main thing that happened was when it came out on Sunday. Sunday morning, it was a 43.5 before the game started. Sunday night, it came out again at 42.5. So it's up a point from that point that I'm using.
I'm just so upset with line reading when I don't have my go-to. My blankie is not available right now to reference, and is bothering me because the move to the over, in essence, in history, would be benefiting the home dog in a big way.
Well, at a very sharp off shore, they did open it up at 41.5 on Sunday night at 7:10 p.m. So you're absolutely right, and I do think that the BetCris bookmaker tandem should be what is used now. I do like using BOL just so that we can see the look ahead line. But you're right, 41.5 to 43.5, 2-point move to the over.
So I'm seeing this move to the over. I think it's bullish for the home dog, and I think it is actually bullish for the under. My only issue is with the under is that we've seen these divisional games for whatever reason sneak over the total, and this is 3 years consecutive. It's funny because up until I started, creating my own database, I would hear people ad nauseum talking about, oh, it's a divisional game. These divisional games go under. And I don't know what the hell they're talking about, because historically the past 3 years, as the markets get more and more saturated, we've seen these games go over. And I would be heavily concerned about where this line is heading. I would say that I would probably be on the over despite the history of the under on prime time in this price range.
Yeah, I can't attack it when it goes from 41.5 to 43.5 or 42.5 to 43.5. It's just, what did I need for the Steelers Browns total? I needed it to come back down to 38. I needed that. I was not going to bet it when I saw that, because it had been moving up to 39. It looked like it was going to go 39.5. It came down and I hammered it. I don't think I want the Steelers as this big of a favorite on the road against anybody. I just don't think they're made for that. But and of course, we just saw them. Birdie talking about the Steelers' difficulty on short weeks. This is a veteran-laden squad. It does help that they had the bye. Don't get me wrong. You get Highsmith back. He's a huge part of this linebacking core. Well, Troy on the Bengals +6 at -120. I don't think I can. I'm not going to go up against this market move to the over. That's just not a wheelhouse for me. We have a lot of people leaning towards the over or close to moving on the over. But we have Troy on the Bengals +6 at -120. And I just need more time to study the spot. We'll have our live stream.
That depends on Hendrickson, man. I feel like if Hendrickson is out, we're going to see 6. That's why I bought the 0.5 point. If Hendrickson is in, I think we're going to see 4.5. So
Hendrickson's having a tough year. He's being doubled all day. All right. That is our Thursday nighter. Troy Torrence on the Bengals +6 at -120. We roll on to London Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. We have the LA Rams 4-2 at Jacksonville Jaguars 4-2. Now we have rain showers that turn into light rain. So it's possible that there'll be light rain or no rain. 13 mile per hour winds, though. 61 Fahrenheit, 13 mile per hour winds. That's the situation for Wembley Stadium, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. local. Let's get into the line history here for Rams Jaguars. We have a total of 45. This look ahead was 46.5, and it got up to 47 until the game started. It got pulled down, reemerged at 46.5, and it got down to 44.5. This was a 44 yesterday morning at 10:30, back up to 45. So it's a 1.5 move towards the under, but it's bounced around. From a point spread standpoint here, we have the Rams -3 at plus money. The look ahead was a 3, but the look ahead went to 3.5 and came back to 3. Then Sunday night, it comes back as a 3, and that's where we stand. Since it reemerged at the 3, that was a -105 for the Jags. So it's moved 15 cents towards the Jags at the 3. And we know their comfort level playing across the pond. They are very used to it. They do it every year. Let's get into the cash flow then for the Wembley Stadium London game. 55% of the tickets, 62% of the cash on the Rams, 50% of tickets on the over, and 86% of cash on the under. We'll start with the Rams. Their passing offense is ranked 2nd. Their rushing offense is ranked 28th, which is a bit of a surprise for a lot of us. The red zone offense has been poor, 24th ranked red zone offense, scoring touchdowns 50% of the time. Their third down offense is 16th. They're converting 40.3% of the time. And then we get to this defense that looks spectacular. Pass defense is ranked 1st. Rush defense is ranked 2nd. Red zone defense is ranked 3rd. Pass rush is ranked 6th. And third down defense is ranked 10th. It's a very complete defense. Rams come in off the 17-3 win at Baltimore. The noise-canceled score, which Troy introduced to our show, and I love it. So I've got it for all the games that I can. 17-14 for the Rams. So it was a much, much closer noise-canceled situation. They were outgained by the Ravens with backup Cooper Rush. 296 to 241. Stafford was 17 of 26 for 181 yards and a touchdown. He did fumble twice. He lost one of them. The offense just didn't look good. Higbee caught 4 passes for 40 yards and a touchdown. Kyron Williams ran 13 times for 50 yards and a touchdown. He caught 2 for 37. And Puka Nacua left in the second quarter with a foot injury. He came back in the third quarter, but he didn't catch a pass after the injury, and he's listed right now as day-to-day. The Rams were just 2 of 5 in the red zone. The defense looked very strong, but look who they were playing, Cooper Rush and the Ravens. They held the Ravens to 0 of 3 in the red zone. Pass rush had 4 sacks, 11 quarterback hits. They held the Ravens to 9 of 23 on third and fourth down. Quentin Lake had an interception. Rob Havenstein, offensive tackle and wide receiver, Tutu Atwell, were inactive and are listed as questionable this week. For the Jaguars, their passing offense ranked 18th, rushing offense 13th, red zone offense 20th, third down offense 25th. It's not very good. Their defense has been better than I expected. Their pass defense is ranked 5th, rush defense 12th, red zone defense 8th, third down defense 23rd. Their pass rush is not strong. I've been saying that. I've also think that the turnovers that they got in the first few games of the year are luck-based. And it's going to stop. And then we just watched it just come to a crashing halt against the Seahawks. They lost 20-12 at home to the Seahawks. Noise canceled score was 25-18 Seahawks. Jags were outgained 346 to 273. Trevor Lawrence was 27 to 42 for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Brian Thomas Jr. caught 8 for 90 and a touchdown, but Travis Etienne struggled. I think we're going to get used to that. Before the year started, he'd had 200-yard games in his past 28. And so can we say that beginning of the year was an outlier? Can we say that maybe he physically breaks down every year, but he keeps playing, but he's beat up? 12 carries for 27 yards. He also caught 4 for 28 yards. Offense only put up 4 yards per play, 4 of 16 on third down, and never made a red zone appearance. The Jags couldn't throw on a Seahawks team that played without 3 starting defensive backs. No Julian Love at safety. No cornerbacks in Devon Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen. And the Jags could do nothing about it. The defense tried to keep the Jags in it. They held the Seahawks to 1 of 12 on third down and 1 of 3 in the red zone. The pass rush was quiet. 1 sack, 4 quarterback hits. They traded Tyson Campbell for Greg Newsome. Newsome, on his first play on the field, was burnt for a 61-yard TD reception from Jackson Smith-Njigba. It was the first time this year the Jags did not get a takeaway. They led the league when they came into the game with 14. Defensive end Trayvon Walker was active after having wrist surgery, 2 weeks after wrist surgery. So he's playing on passing downs with a club on his left hand. Their center, Robert Hainsey, missed the game with a hamstring injury, and he's listed as questionable this week. I do respect this 15-cent move to the Jaguars. I respect it very much. I see that obviously it's a buy low spot on a team that's comfortable playing in Europe, but I don't think they're a very good football team. I want to fade them badly, but I'm not going to sit here saying, oh, the market's wrong. Why are they giving me the 3 with no vig? It scares me. Should it scare me? Troy Torrance, take it away. Our London, England game. And it should be a beauty. Especially they just saw Jets Broncos. They need to see a good football game, and maybe they get one here. Take it away, Troy.
I think this will be a good football game, and you make some incredible points. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to stand in the face of this market move. I'm definitely not. I think there is, and I don't have a market efficiency database to lean on because this game is overseas. There's no home road dichotomy. Now, my sample of overseas games is very small, so I don't even think it's worth, referencing to. But I agree with you in so many ways with how you broke this game down. I want to bet the Rams in this spot. Obviously, I believe in the Rams, but I might just have to let my futures be my action on the Rams in this spot because I think this Jags team is a team that's clearly overrated. They can't compete versus top-tier quarterbacks, and I think their quarterback themselves is terrible. And they're looking at a Rams team that hasn't looked good in 2 consecutive weeks. You could argue that they're a buy low spot. In my mind, they are because you look at that noise-canceled score, and that's actually something I have to circle back to. I had no action on that Ravens-Rams game. I want to circle back, watch the tape on that game, see what was really happening. Because Puka Nacua being out, I think that's why we're seeing this line movement. Puka Nacua has eaten up a massive percentage of this team's offense. So I would expect that line to react to an injury like that. I think that's what we're seeing. And what happened to Trevor Lawrence when the script went dead? I mean, he completely signed off. He was terrible. The plan of attack was sound. Exploit the backup cornerbacks. that play a difficult position when they're trying to play a cover 4. And he went back to the well one too many times. Like a lot of these, I talk about a lot of these websites. I talk about cover 4 so much because I think that's the best way to play defense. And if you have the personnel to play it, you're going to be an elite defense. But, you know, they took advantage of some out and up routes, basically to attack a cover 4 and to know for sure that a team's a cover 4. You run a streak, you run a seam, you're a 2-man combo, a seam with a deep out. And that puts the cornerback in a bind. They exploited it early in the game, and that's all he was looking to all game long was that deep out. And, you know, they have an over route over on the other side, right, coming from across the field. But he tried to go back to the well one too many times. It's like they ran the same play. The Seattle Seahawks team just adjusted to it. They kept seeing it, and he just kept looking at it. And sure, like the Jags did drop 2 key passes, one of them on a critical 3rd down. But I thought Trevor Lawrence was clearly abysmal. I mean, I've been talking about this guy being bad for weeks. He showed out with his mobility against the Chiefs, but outside of that, he's been terrible. He took 7 sacks. Most of those were from his own indecision. Like his spatial awareness is that of a 6-year-old. As soon as that pressure, any type of pressure at all, as soon as he feels that pocket collapsing on him, I don't think he even feels that pocket collapsing on him. So he's always surprised. And they're outgained by 2.4 yards per play. I am not a believer in this Jags team. Obviously, I am a believer in this Rams team, and I see a lot of corollaries between these two defensive styles. Now, you didn't get a lot of cover 3 with the Seahawks, but you're going to get a lot of cover 4 with the Rams, just like the Seahawks play. They don't blitz a lot, just like the Seahawks. The Seahawks blitz at the lowest rate in the league, 11%. The Rams are right there at 14%. A high pressure rate between the Seahawks and the Rams. They're back-to-back. The Rams pass rush grade out at 6th. The Seahawks are 12th. And I feel like the Rams have a scheme, which is a derivative of the Eagles, the Fangio scheme. And I think that's going to be a massive problem when you have a pass rush that's this capable. And I think the Rams offense, I have to go back and see what the hell is going on. You know, their offensive line is grading out incredibly in the run game. They pass to open the run. So maybe that's why this offensive line, because if you look at the personnel, like it's not like you watch tape on these guys, it don't seem like they're really kicking ass, like to be the number 1 overall graded offensive line. But yeah, I really want to go back and watch this tape before I move on this Rams team. If anything, I'm only moving on the Rams. I'm not buying the Jags. I'm a seller of the Jags when they still have a winning record. But TJ pointed it out. I don't see a lot of points being put up in this game. I think we see the market moving towards the under, and I could totally see this being a great play on the under, and I think that's what I'm going to move on in this game pre-flop.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. You know, I don't think Nakua plays. I'm sure he'll try to play. He's day-to-day right now. You know, if the line move was predicated just on the Puka Nakua injury, I don't believe it is.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, but I'm with you guys. You know, first half full game under. TJ said he won't be able to put this out on PubHub. But first half full game under. I agree with you guys. You know, high wins, 2 offenses that are not able to move the ball on the ground successfully over the last couple of weeks. So they're not able to really sustain long drives, you know, smash mouth football. And these defenses are the highlight of the teams. I mean, there's no doubt about it that at this point for both the Rams and the Jags, it's their defense that's leading the way. So I'm right with you guys. I'm absolutely right with you guys. So
yeah, I actually think there was some impressive things on the Jags. I didn't talk about the Jags defense, but it's a defense I kind of am becoming more of a believer in. I can get behind the scheme. I can get behind the personnel. I think they're great on 3rd down. They're well coached. I feel like this is a well coached defense. This is a great under bet. I'm moving on it right now as we speak.
I agree with it. Dougie White says he wants to move on the Rams money line. This I just if you looked at all of what worked for me, last week, it was all selling high and buying low. I really am uncomfortable selling high selling low with the Jaguars after that performance. It just doesn't work for me, and it never does. And I remember, 15, 20 years ago, being in NFL pools and before we, had gained all this wisdom about watching the market and seeing where the public was and seeing what the lines were doing, where I would lose every year. And I would say to myself, man, God, I could just take the opposite on these spreads and these spread pools, when you're betting everyone. Now I'm second out of 96 people in my spread pool right now. And it's just clean, just keeping everything really clean. And here I can't get on the Rams, even though I want to so badly from X's and O's, and I don't feel like I have to anymore. I can just take the first half and the full game under. Now, if Puka Nacua is announced out, and I start believing that everyone's hammering the Jaguars because of that, then I may move on the Rams. So that would be it here. Unders. Troy, did you just move on yours officially?
I did. I bet under 45 at minus 110.
Under 45 at minus 110. I will be first half and full gaming the under myself. Okay, let's roll.
Yeah, but you need a 23. I'm not seeing any 23s.
What's the highest? 22 and a half?
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong about that. Yeah, 22 and a half, I guess. I don't know. All right, yeah. We can move on. Let's get it.
And Dougie White says the moment Puka's announced that he bets Rams. Vince Hawkins is going to be on both team total unders. I have no problem. Like Vince, I have no problem with that adding to your investment. But for me, I just do the first half under and full game under personally. But I get it. Let's roll on. That is the UK game. Let's move on. 1 p.m. Eastern. New Orleans Saints 1-5, 0-2 on the road. Chicago Bears 3-2, 1-1 at home. At Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. 58 Fahrenheit, partly sunny, 13 mile per hour winds. Let's get into the line history here for this one for Saints Bears. Bears were very good to us, and now they're on a short week. The look ahead here was 6, and it started getting bet, moved to 5.5, and then it left. Reemerges on Monday at 4:26 p.m. at a 4, flat 4. So there's been a 1-point move towards the Bears since the reemergence. From a total standpoint here, we have a 47.5, another total that's just skyrocketing. The look ahead was 45.5. It had actually initially moved to 45. It closed at 45. It reemerges on this morning, 8:53 a.m. at 46. Drops down to 45.5 and then starts getting hammered. It's now 47.5. So we've moved 1.5 points since the reemergence and 2 points towards the over from the look ahead. When we get to the cash flow, then for this spot, we have 50% of tickets and 75% of the cash on the Bears. 75% of tickets on the over, 88% cash on the over. Spenny Pennybomb says he honestly thinks Rattler can outperform Caleb. Says he hasn't looked that bad. Harold Williams looking at the Saints plus 5.5 as well. AM on the under 47.5 says getting in front of this over steam. Drewski says Bears smash. JM looking at the under. Let's talk about the Saints first. Their passing offense ranked 14th. Rushing offense ranked 11th. Both numbers better than one would have expected in the start of the year. We have their red zone offense 29th. They're only scoring touchdowns 42.1% of the time. Their third down offense 21st. They're only converting 37.7% of the time. Defensively, their passing defense ranked 16th. Their rush defense is 10th. Red zone defense and third down defense, both 24th. And right now, the New Orleans Saints are the worst pass rush in the National Football League. Keys has super letdown spot for the Bears. Saints coming off a 25-19 loss at home to the Patriots. The noise canceled score was 29-20 Patriots. So Patriots were in control of that one. Spencer Rattler was 20-26 for 227 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Olave caught 6 for 98. Kamara ran 10 for 31, but he did catch 5 for 45, and he was coming in injured. Juwan Johnson lost a fumble. The Saints were just 3 of 9 on third down, 1 of 2 in the red zone. The defense tried to keep the Saints in it. I mean, they only allowed the Patriots 1 red zone attempt, which the defense stopped. But this terrible pass rush managed 1 sack and 3 quarterback hits, and they get Chase Young back from a calf injury, makes his season debut, and he did look okay at times. He finished with 1 tackle. He didn't get a sack. He did put some pressure on May a couple times. Brady says Bears defensive coordinator should be able to game plan well for the Saints offense. He's a pretty big edge here. The under for Birdie. Let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Passing offense ranked 22nd. Rushing offense ranked 14th. DeAndre Swift had a massive game, one that I didn't think was in him. Red zone offense is 18th, only scoring touchdowns 57.1% of the time. Third down offense 7th. Passing defense 17th. Rush defense 20th. Red zone defense 24th. But the Bears' third down defense is third best in the NFL. They're only allowing conversions 30.6% of the time, but their pass rush is 28th. There's our guy, Topset, in the house. My dude says Dennis Allen, revenge spot. Bears on a short week after winning their third straight game, 25-24 at Washington on Monday. Caleb Williams was 17-29 for 252 and a touchdown. Swift was excellent. 14 carries for 108 yards, led receivers with 2 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. They outgained the Commanders 381 to 329. Now, they were just 3 of 11 on third and fourth down and 1 of 3 in the red zone, but their defense was strong, held the Commanders to 3 of 8 on third down, offered them just 1 red zone opportunity. The pass rush had 2 sacks, 2 quarterback hits. Jaquan Brisker had an interception. They're getting healthier. So DJ Moore stayed overnight at the hospital, precautionary medical attention. I'm still working on trying to figure out what is going on. Noah Sewell was ruled out with a concussion. Linebacker Noah Sewell.
Who was that you just said, Jimmy?
DJ Moore. Undisclosed everywhere I looked. Undisclosed why he had to stay at the hospital overnight. Didn't leave with the team. Grady Jarrett was inactive with a knee injury and is listed as questionable this week. So that is the situation here. Bears, obviously it's you would think it was a sell high spot. I'm never going to buy the Saints on the road. Maybe at home I can find a way to get on them, but I'm never going to back them on the road. Take it away for us here, Troy. Saints Bears.
This is a really tough game, and it makes me think as I'm looking at this game again. Can anybody go and look at the history of teams who've coming off 2+ home games, 2 or more? I talked about this with the Bills a little bit. The Bills were off 3 straight home games. They go on the road. Every time I come across a team coming off of 2 straight home games where they've performed good, obviously the Saints won one of those games at home. Now they're going on the road. It's been horrible. We talked about the Bills. They got smacked. Now we got the Saints, who the only time we got it this season, they got smacked in Seattle. And if you even go back to 2022, every time this team has come off 2 straight home games, they go on the road, they get absolutely obliterated. They don't cover spreads, that's for sure. We do have 2 teams heading in their different directions. The Bears coming off 3 straight wins. It's a sell high situation with a team like the Bears. But there's clearly a cultural change happening with Ben Johnson at the helm. The Saints are 1-5, who is a team that's clearly incentivized to continue losing football games. With the Bears, I do think that they've been lucky over the past 2 weeks. There were some bad calls on Monday Night Football they were able to overcome. I think if it was anybody but the Bears who continue to shoot themselves in the foot, and Caleb Williams, I thought had a really bad game, to be honest. I think the noise canceled score, even though they, that fumble, the unforced fumble and all this stuff happened in the Bears' favor late in that game, I think the Bears would still show as the winner of that football game. I think we've seen a ton of holes in the Commanders team, and we've seen some bright spots with this Bears offense, in my opinion. I was impressed, and it wasn't by Caleb, who I think struggled. And I do think the mistakes he's making are fixable. Being able to deliver the ball on target for zone coverage with the wide receiver sitting in a zone, in the soft spot of a zone, he's leading them down the field. Like, he's done this for 2 straight years. So I don't know if it is fixable, but in theory, it should be fixable. His decision-making, it's improved, but he still lacks it on critical downs. And he's slow to take what the defense gives him. He delivers the ball late. There's not a lot that I like about what Caleb Williams did. But the offensive line and the scheme was elite. Go back and put it on tape. The split zone scheme with zoom motion and play action. They play action at the second highest rate in the NFL. That's right behind Shane Steichen. It's a great sign. And they're incorporating a screen game. If you watch the Bears screen game for the past 10 years, it has been awful. It was an embarrassment. Now it's actually fungible. It's actually working. And if you're a Bears fan, I think you should be thrilled about what we've seen on this offensive line. And Swift did a good job running the football when he was untouched. I mean, he's pretty much untouched on a lot of those split zones. And I really would still want them to, he's more of a receiver, man. I'd rather throw him the ball than hand him the ball. Defensively is where I was also impressed defensively. Dennis Allen scheming pressure with a bunch of stunts on the defensive line, with some mixing in man zone coverage, mixing in the blitz. I think Jane Daniels was under duress all night. The highest pressure to sack rate of his career. That means he was confused. They were stout against the run, using only the front 7. And outside of one damn possession, the defense was excellent. It reminded me of what we've seen last year. So you insert 2 of those defensive players, their defensive studs, back in the lineup, and we've seen a drastic change. I don't know if that's Commanders' issues, because the Commanders haven't looked great, but I was very impressed with what I've seen outside of Caleb Williams. I think it's a bet on football team. We need Caleb to get his ass moving in the right direction. And the Saints, I think we know who this team is. I mean, they're below average from across the board. Defensive personnel, whether you look at the O-line, the quarterback situation, he's still beating my expectations. Don't get me wrong, but still, and now he's going on the road. They have some explosive weapons. And I just, I look at the defense and I see Brandon Staley as their defensive coordinator. And no wonder they're botching so many coverages. And a team like the Patriots is just slicing them up downfield. They have a weak ass, probably the worst defensive coordinator in football. So I think a lot of their defensive woes are due to Brandon Staley. How could you not, after what we've seen, the 360 the Chargers did as soon as he left the defensive side of the ball. If the Bears can continue to get pressure on the quarterback, the defense is going to be good. Ben Johnson will move this. We'll continue seeing upward mobility, hopefully. I just can't back the Bears. The market, I think it's pretty unclear of where this market opened. I need to do a little bit more study there. The Bears are probably overpriced in this matchup. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But it's like, how can I go back to the Saints on the road after 2 consecutive home games, a team that's incentivized to lose football games? I think I'm just going to have to pass on this one.
Yeah, I don't think that again, Spooner talking about winning the turnover battle 3-0. Well, we saw what happened to the Saints after winning a turnover battle 5-0. They lost badly. So, yeah, I'm with you. I can't take the Bears at this number. Are you surprised that this has gone up to 47.5? I guess.
Very surprised. So surprised that it would make me question being able to bet the under, because I don't think would we expect Rattler to be able to convert in the red zone? How are we getting to 47.5 points?
No, I don't see how we could expect. I mean, these two offenses are weak in the red zone. Red zone offense for the Saints, 24th. Red zone offense for the Bears, tied with the Saints, 24th. So I don't see it. The red zone offense, that was the red zone defense for both teams. Red zone offense for the Saints, 29th, and red zone offense for the Bears, 18th. But yeah, I'm shocked that's up to 47.5. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, that's a mistake, and I just that's not something that works for me.
I mean, I think it's telling us that this Saints team is going to get torched down the field. That's what I think. There's so many holes. I feel like there's so many blown coverages, and I'm going to go back and rewatch tape. I watched the entire game, just haven't put it on broadcast view yet. But yeah, I think thinking about where this total sits, it's making me like the Bears a little bit more. But I'm not going to be moving on this game. And
yes, top set 13-mile-per-hour winds at this point, but not expected to have any rain. Nothing for us here in Saints Bears at this point. Again, it's Tuesday, October 14th. So we got a little bit of time before this pops off, but nothing for us here in Saints Bears. We roll on. Next up, 1 p.m. Eastern, we have the Miami Dolphins, 1-5, 0-3 on the road. The Cleveland Browns, 1-5, 1-2 at home. We're at Huntington Bank Field in Cleveland, Ohio. 65 Fahrenheit, rain showers, and 19-mile-per-hour winds.
Beautiful.
So the Chargers fade has made me a lot more money than it looks, because I've been fading the teams that have beaten the Chargers. I told everybody, it's like the Commanders, people are all going to see that 27-10 win and think this is a good football team. It's not a good football team. The Chargers are just so much worse than the statistics explain they are. So what do? We faded the Commanders based on them beating the Chargers and selling them high. And now we do the same thing with the Dolphins. Now, I get the luxury of Troy sending me his action when he starts betting it. Troy sent me the Browns -2.5, -115, and I joined them. But I didn't just join them. I'm also on the first half under and the full game under. With these wins, these teams are not going to be able to throw the ball the way they would like to. And you're going to see a ton of rushing. This Dolphins rushing offense is 25th. It's not strong. When Achane starts rolling, it's because they pass him the ball out of the backfield. It's not because of him running. The Dolphins passing offense 21st, rushing offense 25th. Now their red zone offense is 3rd, and their third down offense is 3rd. And it's been impressive. Their passing defense is 30th, but then I don't think that's going to hurt them here. 19-mile-per-hour winds and Dylan Gabriel. The rush defense is 25th. Red zone defense 4th. They have a strong red zone defense, which is a surprise. Third down defense is 30th at 40%. And their pass rush is 31st. Top set says under first quarter, first half, full game. I moved on the first half and full game unders here for this one. I got the 40.5 that's available still right now. Has not moved. I got 40.5 minus 110, and I got 20.5 at minus 120. Some of the better offshores didn't have first half lines available for me yet. So that's the situation. Let's go through this line history and we'll dive in a little bit more. But there are just 3s across the board right now. And there's a 3 here. Now, this was minus 2.5, minus 122 at this site when we moved. When Troy had already moved on to minus 2.5, minus 115. I joined him. But it was already moving. And now we have a flat 3. When I'm looking around, all I see are flat 3s. And a very, very sharp book that I use for line history is a flat 3. Flat 3, pick them either way. So I think that is good. I believe that we beat the line there. From a total standpoint, there are some 40s from sharp books. There's still 40.5s out there. The 40.5 I'm looking at right now is at minus 115. The look ahead number was 41.5. Then it came out on Sunday night at 41, and it's dropped a half point, 40.5. It is juiced minus 115 to the under. Wager Detective on the Browns money line. And again, we take advantage of what everybody saw. The Dolphins covered because the Chargers have serious, serious issues, incredibly serious issues. Not because the Dolphins are a good football team. And we take the Dolphins off of the away from home here at Huntington Bank Field in Cleveland, Ohio, and it's a great spot to attack them. So Dolphins coming off the 29-27 loss at home to the Chargers. Noise canceled score was 29-19 Chargers. But I think you're going to see that consistently in Chargers games. They have players in positions and spots that they had no plan on having them in. This offensive line was not expected to be the offensive line. There's mistakes are happening by the Chargers team, and you're going to see a lot of it. Tua Tagovailoa, 21-32 for 205 yards, touchdown, 3 interceptions. Jalen Waddle caught 6 passes for 95 yards. Achane ran 16 times for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns while catching 4 passes for 22 yards. The Dolphins put up 6.1 yards per play, 5-11 on third down, 2 of 3 in the red zone. The defense bent but didn't break. Held the Chargers 6 of 15 on third down, and they were just held the Chargers just 2 of 7 in the red zone. 2 of 7 is what the Chargers did in the red zone. Hilarious. Point and laugh and make a lot of money fading them. Pass rush finished with 1 sack and 7 quarterback hits.
That's why the noise canceled score was what it was, is because that 2 of 7, the 7 attempts in the red zone or 7 visits to the red zone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. This is now we'll get to the Chargers in due time, but it's the best situation I've ever been in my gambling career. The statistics that back the Chargers as being a quality football team when I know that they're not. It's heaven. When we talk about the Cleveland Browns, passing offense 28th, rushing offense 18th, red zone offense 22nd, third down offense 28th. It's a problem. But we get to their defense. Now, their red zone defense is 32nd. Again, I think that gets neutralized by the weather here. Their third down defense is 27th. They're allowing conversions 42.5% of the time. I'm pretty sure that gets better as the season goes on. Their passing defense is ranked 7th. Their rush defense ranked 1st. Their pass rush is ranked 1st. And when we take a look at the cash flow then for this spot, you have 61% of the tickets and 70% of the cash on the Browns. I don't mind that as we're blowing through the 2.5. So I'm okay with that at this point. I'm not sure if that stays that way. 60% of tickets on the under and 89% of cash on the over does not concern me. I understand when you read the statistics of the Miami Dolphins and you just watch their game when 56 points were put up, you think, wow, these guys are going to be overs all the time. But I do not think that's the case. I think that one team will be dictating the pace in this football game, and that team is the Cleveland Browns. They're coming off a 23-9 loss at Pittsburgh. Noise canceled score was 21-17. We talked about the Browns have now lost at Pittsburgh in the regular season 22 straight times. Dylan Gabriel was 29-52 for 221 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, and he was running for his life. Sacked 6 times and hit 16 times. Rodgers wasn't sacked once and was only hit 3 times. Harold Fannin Jr., who Troy talked about in our our futures episodes. Caught 7 passes for 81 yards. Quinshon Judkins ran 12 times for 36 yards. Browns offense averaged 3.3 yards per play and were 0 for 3 in the red zone. The Browns now have not made it to 17 points in 11 straight games. Despite not having a strong pass rush, the defense was keeping the Browns in it. They allowed the Steelers to make one foray into the red zone. Now the Steelers cashed it. And there were injuries. And you saw what happened when Jack Conklin left with a concussion. He's a crucial piece to this offensive line. He's in protocol. Cam Robinson, another offensive tackle, suffered a knee injury. And we're going to find out what the state of his, if he can play. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, the defensive end, left with a hip injury and did not return. So you have offensive line issues. Well, the pass rush that you're going up against is the second worst in the NFL. It's not the 4th-ranked Steelers pass rush. I love where you're at with the Browns. I took the first half under and the full game under with great confidence. Take it away for us, Troy. Dolphins, Browns.
Yeah, we talked about the noise-adjusted score, and the one thing that I didn't mention when we talked about the Steelers is the 5 drop passes and 4 of them on drive-altering plays that would have extended drives, put them into scoring range. And then, I mean, it's a doomsday scenario for a rookie on the road against a team on a bye like the Steelers with Tomlin. They fall behind early. That is doomsday scenario for a team like that, for a team like the Browns with all their injuries, all the problems with the rookie quarterback, 52 passes, only 17 rushing attempts. That's not going to be the case. I don't think we're going to see that. We have the Browns coming home. They're going to be significantly better on both sides of the ball. Dylan Gabriel heading into his 3rd start, his first 2 starts, very tough matchups in the Vikings and the Steelers. Now he gets a cupcake Dolphins defense. And the Dolphins defense has been good on the road, but they've been historically great at home. We say the bad pass rush, how terrible the pass rush was. Well, you look at quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes on Sunday Night Football and Aaron Rodgers in his spot. They were catch and release. I mean, there was no holding on to the football. They were getting rid of it. There's really no opportunity for a pass rush in either of those games. The Dolphins defense is 32nd per PFF. They graded out 29th or below in every single category you look at. The front 7 is by far the worst in the NFL. They can't apply pressure. They can't get off run blocks. They've allowed 21 points or more in every game of the season. If the Browns score 21 points in this game, I think they win by margin, especially if it's going to be a windy day. The Dolphins on offense, the offensive line, I think it's the worst in the NFL by margin. Tua relies on a quick catch and release, and this is where I kind of, go back and forth with myself. This is my interior battle. We just watched Aaron Rodgers, who's not mobile, like Tua is not mobile, who wants to get rid of the ball quick, like Tua wants to get rid of the ball quick, and he was able to do it against man coverage. So there's ways you could scheme your guys open, but I feel like he's going to have a lot more trouble against man coverage when you don't have a guy like Tyreek Hill. It's going to be able to create quick and instant separation. If you look at Tua historically, he does not perform well versus man coverage. And I think he's going to be even worse when Tyreek's out of this game. The Browns have had the toughest strength of schedule season to date per PFF, and I would agree. They're playing at home where they're significantly better. Gabriel goes from playing great defenses in a hostile environments to the worst defense in the NFL at the house. Yeah, the Miami defense hasn't proven the ability to stop the run, which I think is going to make things much easier on a young quarterback. And the public right now is aping in on Miami, thinking they're the right side. And I believe Stefanski, we were talking about our boy McDaniel being on the hot seat. I think if Stefanski loses this game, I think he's out. And this is the same reason we backed the Dolphins at home against the Jets. It was the same situation. If he loses this game, he's out. I feel like he's fired. I'm on the Browns -2.5. I moved on it for 2 units. So I might have to get on it a different way. Maybe a money line parlay. We'll see. But maybe the right way to do it is by taking the Dolphins team total under. Maybe that's how I'll play it. I don't know. I gotta get another bet down in this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind adding to it as well. I really like the spot. And my man helped me with Luke helped me with they haven't surpassed 17 points because the Browns have got to 17 points twice this year alone. Haven't surpassed 17 points in 11 straight games. I love it. I love the spot. I wonder if you take that money line in a parlay, it's It's climbing that money line. At 365, it's now minus 160. Dougie Wise on the other side, he is on the Dolphins minus 2.5, minus 135. And again, and Dougie Wise, I'm not saying this because I think you're wrong or anything like that, but I've not just been making money fading the Chargers. I've been making money fading the teams that have looked good against the Chargers. It's making me a lot of money, in two different ways. So also fading the Chargers and then fading the team that looks good against the Chargers. Look what the Commanders just did. They beat the Chargers 27-10 in LA. Do you think the Dolphins look better than they've looked all year? If you say yes, you're right, because the Chargers are way worse than the sum of their parts. I'm with Troy here on the Browns. Here we go. Okay. We roll up. We roll on. Next up for us is the Patriots Titans. New England Patriots 4-2, 3-0 on the road. Undefeated on the road. Tennessee Titans 1-5, 0-2 at home. We have Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. So Phil the Kill says, when Jimmy's pops doubts the Chargers, take notice. When I send in my dad's action, take notice. This happens, once every 30, 40 bets? I've been sending it in every week and adding heavily to it. Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee. We have another game with heavy winds. 69 Fahrenheit, partly sunny, 16 mile per hour winds. We have the Titans coming off firing Brian Callahan. Some Bills gone too. We'll go over all of that. Let's get into the line history here. And also, you guys know that in every other sport, when a coach is fired, we will bet that team. Not in football. It's way too complicated of a sport. And I don't think that head coaching moves should really be made unless there's something egregious going on. We have a total here at 42. It's heavily juiced to the under. The look ahead was 43.5. It got down to 42.5 while it was a look ahead. It reemerged on Sunday night, 7:15 at 42, got down to 41, and now back up to 42. The way I see this total has moved 8 cents to the under. That's it. I don't really care about it, the comparison to the look ahead. I'd like to know where it reemerged at. We have the New England Patriots -7. The look ahead was 6, and it got bet down to 5, back up to 6. It did close the look ahead at 6. Reemerges at 6.5 and moves to 7. The 7 got juiced too. It was at -115 for a while. Right now it's a -110. When we get to the cash flow for this spot, we have only information on the side. We don't have total information yet, but we know that 78% of tickets and 85% of cash are on the Patriots. These Patriots, 6th ranked passing offense and the 32nd ranked rush offense, the worst rushing offense in the league. Red zone offense 17th at 60%, third down offense 10th at 41.4%. Their pass defense ranked 23rd, rush defense ranked 18th. Their defensive numbers are not good. Red zone defense 21st, third down defense 3rd worst in the NFL, and their pass rush is ranked 18th. Patriots coming off the 25-19 win at the Saints. The noise canceled score was 29-20 Patriots. They were full value. May was 18-26 for 261 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. It was the first game in the Superdome for Keyshawn Boutte, Louisiana native. Had a bunch of friends and family there, caught 5 passes for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. This ground game struggling. Trayvon Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson combined for 22 carries for 45 yards. Patriots only had 1 red zone attempt, didn't get the ball in the end zone. But the defense held the Saints to 3-9 on third down, 1 of 2 in the red zone. Pass rush had 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hits. And defensive end Keon White and safety Jalen Hawkins were inactive. They're both listed as questionable this week, and we'll have a better idea with the Wednesday injury report. The Titans passing offense last in the league. Rushing offense 26th. Red zone offense 25th. Third down offense last in the league. Rush defense 19th. Pass defense 19th. Rush defense 15th. Red zone defense 19th. Third down defense 12th. Middling defense, pass rush ranked 13th. Spooner says interim head coaches 20-12 versus the spread 20-10 in their first game. That's a great stat, Spooner. Titans come in off a 2010 loss at the Raiders. The noise-canceled score was 16-8 Raiders. Callahan fired after loss. Callahan finishes with a 4-19 record, 1-5 this season. So, again, the last 4 quarterbacks selected number 1 overall have had their head coaches fired during their rookie season. 6 of the last 8 quarterbacks that have been drafted number 1 overall, 6 of the 8 have seen their head coach fired during that season. Incredible. Bill Callahan leaves as well. The Titans offense has scored 83 points. That's the franchise's fewest through 6 games since 1985. Senior offensive assistant Mike McCoy takes over as interim coach. You guys remember Mike McCoy? He was the head coach of the Chargers from 2013 to 2016. He was 27-37 with the Chargers. Made the playoffs the first season and not again. The Raiders had 226 yards and the Titans had 225. The teams had 2.39 yards per play in the first half. That's the lowest in a football game since 2011. Crazy. Cam Ward was 26-38 for 222 yards, touchdown, interception. Also lost 2 fumbles. Van Jefferson led receivers with 4 catches for 75 yards because Calvin Ridley hurt his hamstring. He's listed as questionable this week. Offense with 3 of 13 on third down, 1 of 2 in the red zone. Pass rush had 2 sacks and 7 quarterback hits. Cody Barton had a pick. The defense tried to keep the Titans in it, but the offense didn't help. The defense held the Raiders to 4 yards per play. The Raiders did finish 6 of 13 on third down and 2 for 4 in the red zone. Joe Sly did not play. He's got a calf injury, so they signed Matthew Wright to the practice squad this week. And then Femi Oladejo, outside linebacker, was injured in the third quarter, and he's listed as questionable right now. We'll get the update tomorrow. Here we go. Troy Torrence, Patriots, Titans. You cashed with the Patriots last week. What's your plan this week?
Man, I've cashed on this Patriots team 3 weeks in a row now. And I've been talking about Drake May being a kid that's going to be a staple in this league for years to come, as long as he stays healthy. But we're talking about a 7-point road favorite. This is an entirely new role for this kid, for this team. I do think Drake May and this offense is moving in the right direction. I think we continue to see them get better. I think Vrabel has the defense, evolving. I think on third down, we see him pull a card out of his pocket, and he's been very impressive. I think the Patriots defense moving in the right direction. It's just 7 points on the road. And the narratives in this game, LJ pointed it out yesterday. I think it's definitely worth the analysis, but it's just too hard, right? How are you going to quantify this? The Titans fire Vrabel. Callahan self-destructs and pulls the organization down with him. The Titans fire Callahan before they play their old coach. Like the potential embarrassment would have been too much for the ownership to handle, too much for this team to handle. I have another prediction about a player now that I'm thinking about the Titans is Tajay Spears, a Green Wave alum. I think he's going to be an all-pro running back. I think he's clearly the best offensive option, whether you pass it to him or you run him out of the backfield. Cam Ward, he's been incompetent, but, he was under Callahan's leadership. We knew this guy was a bum. We don't want to write these quarterbacks off early in their career like Daniel Jones, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. Those are 3 of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. And where were they? They were with, terrible situations with terrible organizations. He has massive issues. He's a young quarterback. He's with a poisoned organization. I think he's better than he's put on tape so far, but we just haven't seen it yet. The Titans defense is definitely their strong suit. The front 7 is strong. Cedric Gray is budding into an all-star. The secondary is not that bad. They got some good talent back there. I think the 3-4, I want to see more nickel out of this team. Get Roger McCreary. I think he's been a stud when he's been on the field. Take Shai Tuttle off the field. Play more nickel. Ditch the 3-4 defense. And I think the defense would be even more improved. The Patriots, I think, are probably live to win this division. The gap between Josh Allen and Drake May is closing. The coaching staff for New England is significantly better than Buffalo. Of course, I want to back this Patriots team again. But I can't. This is a dead cat bounce spot for this the Titans organization, Titans team. I lean towards the Titans, but I'm not going to be betting it.
It's a great breakdown. Birdie says, so many things working against the Patriots here. He says, I would love to fade them here on their 3rd straight road game, but happily staying away from this game. Topset says, Pat's team total under 24.5 for him. TJ says, I don't think the Pats are mid. This is a playoff team. Vincent Hawkins says, Titans team total under. It's cashed all year. Wager Detective not trusting the Pats running game. It's a problem.
It is a problem. Now they're doing some different things recently. Like we've seen Ben Johnson running the split zone. They've had success with the split zone. Split zone is basically when it's not a misdirection play because there's no hesitation in the backfield, but you're basically running away from the strong side of the field. Which, I mean, it's just a clever way to run the football, and they've had success. They need to figure out some more schemes to get going.
Yeah, I understand the concern for the 7. I think, talking about the third straight road game, I think that the bet should be Tennessee.
Yeah, right. 3 games on the road, but yeah, I don't know how that one works. I know that the teams that go from multiple games at home out onto the road, every time I come across it, I see teams getting smashed.
I love it because they're so comfortable, and then they leave that comfort zone.
I would be on the Saints. I would have bet the Saints already if it wasn't for my, that realization.
Well, I'm certainly interested in the Titans. I don't know if I can get there, and I'm certainly not going to push it. I'm not going to bet tonight. I really want to see what happens with this line. I think if it does drop back to 6.5 or 6, I think it'll be telling, and if it goes 7.5, it's telling as well. So we'll take more time here. And then this total, I agree with it dropping down to 42. I think this could very well be a low-scoring game.
Database says under. If I had to make any bet in this game, I should have mentioned it would be on the under because the database is strong. Market moving towards the road favorite between 6 and 7. Under.
I'm very interested in the under. Again, with the heavy winds forcing the rush game. A rushing attack that neither team has. Now, that can change with Spears being back, but this is a 26th ranked rushing Titans offense and a 32nd ranked Patriots rushing offense. This should be bet. The under should be bet. And also, I think it's fair to assume that you're going to get maximum effort from this Titans defense with the coaching changes. And then probably from the offense too. But, I mean, you're going to get effort with the new coach in. So I'm interested in the Titans. I may bet the under tonight. I may get it in my pocket tonight. All right, let's roll on. Next up for us, we head to Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium, 62 Fahrenheit, sunny, 10-mile-per-hour winds. The Raiders 2-4, 1-2 on the road. At the Chiefs 3-3, 2-1 at home. Let's get into the line history here for Raiders Chiefs. We have a total at 45.5. The look ahead was 45.5, and it closed at 46. Reemerged at 46, and it's dropped to 45.5. So we can call it a half-point move to the under. We in the point spread here, we have Kansas City minus 12. It's a lot. The look ahead was 10.5, and then it reemerged at 10. Now it's at 12. It did get up to 12.5 too, but so it's a real legit big move towards the Chiefs. When we get to the cash flow for this one, we have 84% of the tickets and 88% cash on the Chiefs. And by the way, Spooner says Circa shows 94% of the tickets, 90% cash, and their splits on the Pats with -7, -110 as the opener and no move. And Sammy's saying that we can find that under 43 at -120 on Penny. I'm interested. Very, very, very interested. But here, I don't know how we can buy the Raiders high. And I don't know how we can really buy the Chiefs high when we know what happens in these divisional games against the Raiders is the Raiders just play their best football. Now, of course, this is a whole new group running the Raiders. 62 Fahrenheit, 10 miles per hour. The Raiders offense ranked 30th, rushing offense ranked 19th, red zone offense 31st. Second worst red zone offense, third worst passing offense. Who would have thought that with Geno Smith indoors? Third down offense 12th. Their passing defense is second worst in the NFL. Rush defense 24th. Red zone defense 13th. Third down defense 25th. Pass rush 23rd. It's not a good football team. But they come in off a 2010 win at home over the Titans to snap their 4-game losing streak. Noise canceled score was 16-8. Geno was 17-23 for 174 yards, touchdown, interception. Trey Tucker led receivers with 5 passes for 70 yards. Brock Bowers missed his second straight game with the knee injury. That looks like it's a real issue. Ashton Genty ran 23 times for 75 yards and touchdown, caught 2 for 11. Raiders were 7 of 14 on 3rd and 4th down and 2 of 4 in the red zone. As I said when we were talking about the Titans, these two teams combined for 2.39 yards per play in the first half. That's the lowest since Baltimore and Jacksonville on October 24th, 2011. That's how pitiful the offenses were. But their defense was strong throughout. They set the tone in the first half. They shut out the Titans. It was the first time Vegas had shut out an opponent in a half since the second half against New Orleans last year, December 29th of last season. Held the Titans to 3 of 13 on 3rd down, 1 of 2 in the red zone. Pass rush looked very strong. It was shocking. I've not seen it look strong all year. 6 sacks, 8 quarterback hits. I mean, we blame the Titans' offensive line, don't we? Devin White looked excellent all game long, and he had an interception. Crosby had 2 sacks. He has a 9-game streak with at least 1 tackle for a loss. That's the longest for a Raider player since 2008. Laulu recorded his 4th sack in 6 games. He's the first Raider defensive tackle to have 4 sacks in his first 6 games since the great Bill Pickle in 1986. A.J. Cole, their punter, played after getting hurt last week. Now let's talk about these Chiefs. Passing offense 16th, rushing offense 7th, red zone offense 13th, and 3rd down offense 11th. It's improving in front of our eyes, and now we are going to see Rashee Rice returning from his suspension, which should help a lot, and he should be playing with a chip on his shoulder. He's got a lot to prove. This red zone defense here is, their pass defense is 3rd in the NFL. Let's start there. Rush defense 29th. Red zone defense 16th, 3rd down defense 14th, and their pass rush now ranked 20th. They come in off an impressive 30-17 victory at Kansas City over the Lions. The noise-canceled score helped them too. It's 34-23 for the Chiefs. Mahomes was 22 of 30 for 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He also ran 10 times for 32 yards. 302 career touchdown passes, including the postseason for Mahomes. So he's the quickest player in NFL history to reach the 300 mark. 139 games, 8 games faster than Aaron Rodgers. Kelsey led receivers with 6 catches for 78 yards. We talked about Rice coming back. Pacheco looked better, ran 12 times for 51 yards, and the Chiefs were 4 of 6 in the red zone. Now, the Chiefs just played again at home with no penalties the entire game. No turnovers either. The defense was strong throughout. They held the Lions' tough offense to 297 total yards, 5 of 13 on 3rd and 4th down, and 1 of 2 in the red zone. But the pass rush was quiet again. It's becoming a bit of an issue. 1 sack, 4 quarterback hits. And they played without Josh Simmons, their 1st-round pick. He had a personal issue that kept him from being in Kansas City. So Jalen Moore played well in this place. Jalen Moore had a really tough spot against Aiden Hutchinson. So the offensive line has shown depth, especially going up against that tough Lions pass rush. Troy Torrence, take it away. Raiders, Chiefs.
I know we have success. We've had success recently betting this Chiefs team. I'm extremely salty and bitter after what I've seen. I thought it was over. I thought the Democrats are out of office. That means the Pfizer boys, and it's all over. Taylor Swift, that's all over, right? No more mob shit. 0 penalties. The first time in the past 70, actually the second time, the first time in the past 25 years, and the second time in NFL history that a team has not been called for 1 penalty in a game. Goff, his TD reception, the latest flag in NFL history. The softest pass interference call leads to a touchdown late in the first half. This is why capping this team is a matter of market analysis. It has nothing to do at all with matchups. So we could throw all that out of the window. Not even considering market history in this case either, because it's all specific to the Chiefs, obviously. And this number, honestly, looking at the Chiefs' history, would tell me that they're going to win but not cover. Nothing else matters. It's not like a matchup matters in this game. And the Chiefs Raiders, from thinking about this Chiefs team, between 2018 and 2022, they had an elite offense and average defense. Then you had 3 years, 2022 to 24, they have an average offense, elite defense. Now I think it flips back with an elite offense, a below average defense. And there's not much more to talk about. The Chiefs will go as far as the mob takes them. The Raiders already playing for next year, as far as I'm concerned. They only beat the Titans and the Patriots in week 1. If they were playing the Patriots again in week 7, they'd be catching at least 4 points. And Geno Smith, bottom 5 quarterback. I don't have much with this game. I have no interest in betting this game. No over, no under, no side, complete pass.
I mean,
you can't tell I'm bitter, can you, Jim?
I can. But the vividness bias of the Raiders covering in Kansas City, I just feel like it's so thick in my mind.
It's so thick, and we're seeing a 12. What does that tell us? The Chiefs should hammer.
Yeah, it tells us they're going to destroy. What do you think of this total? I mean, the Raiders are going to, pull out every possible stop here. They're just going to do whatever they can to slow the Chiefs down. Again, this is not the NFC West, obviously, so it's not under city when these teams play against each other. But I feel like I have a bias about unders, especially when these two teams play. We're sitting here at a 45.5 right now. We don't have very much market analysis, but what we do have here is only side. What do you think of the total at 45.5?
I think the Chiefs put up 65 points in this game. It's going to go way over, probably.
Wow. All right. Yeah, I've got a lot to think about with this spot. I don't feel like I'm close to anything here. So, the market moving from 10 to 12 is pretty bullish. So you say this is just Kansas City or pass?
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
I do not want to back any team that beats up on the worst team in the league. Right,
exactly. And now they're catching 12 in a spot where historically everyone's going to see the Raiders cover. And the Chiefs are I think I heard a metric today where the Chiefs win at the highest rate when they're laying more than 7 points. They win at the highest rate, but they cover at the lowest rate. Sounds like some mob shit to me.
Well, let's roll on here. That is Raiders Chiefs. Lots more to work on there. Let's roll on. Next up for us, 1 p.m. Eastern, with the Philadelphia Eagles 4-2, 2-1 on the road. The Minnesota Vikings 3-2, 1-1 at home. We're at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Let's get into the line history here. We have a total at 43.5. The look ahead was 42.5. It dropped down to 41.5, but it climbed. It climbed all the way up to 43.5, dropped to 43, and then, went away. Reemerged at 42, and now we're at 43.5. So no matter how you look at it, this total is climbing. We get to the point spread here for this next spot. We have the Eagles minus 115. The look ahead was 2.5, and it got bet to 3.5. Came back down to 3, left. When it reemerged at a 3, but the Eagles were plus 102. So it only lasted there for about 29 minutes before it came at 2.5, then a 2, then a 1. This is one-way traffic market-wise towards the Minnesota Vikings. When we get to the cash flow for the spot, we have 92% of the tickets and 92% of the cash on Philadelphia. Now it's 92 and 90. Just switch. 75% of tickets on the over, 53% cash on the under. So let's hammer this one. We have these Eagles passing offense ranked 15th, rushing offense ranked 21st, red zone offense the best in the league, 87.5%. Third down offense 27th. They're only converting 34.7% of the time. Passing defense 9th, rushing defense 17th, red zone defense 8th. Third down defense is weak, 26th. Pass rush is ranked 9th. The Eagles come in off extra rest and prep against the Vikings team coming off their bye week. And, obviously, we crushed on Monday backing the two teams off their bye week. I just need to say that out loud because I understand it's a bias in my head. Jalen Hurts was 24-33 for 283 yards, touchdown, and a pick in their second straight loss, 34-17 at the Giants. That Hurts interception, remember we talked about it was live at the time at halftime, it was plus 300. And he threw it. That's just his second interception. The other one being in the Super Bowl over his past 15 games. Dallas Goedert caught 9 for 110 and a touchdown. Saquon Barkley ran 12 times for 58 yards, caught 2 passes for 9 yards. A.J. Dillon lost a fumble. The Eagles were just 1 of 9 on third down, of 2 of 3 in the red zone. The defense looked awful. They allowed the Giants to go 11 of 16 on third down and a perfect 3 of 3 in the red zone. Pass rush finished with 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits. A cornerback, Quinion Mitchell, left in the second quarter with a hamstring injury. He didn't return, and Jalen Carter was inactive with the heel injury. We didn't know anything about the heel injury until the injury report on Wednesday. And Landon Dickerson, a great guard, was inactive. He's listed as questionable for this week. Digging in the house says Eagles have been outgained in every single game this season. Let's talk about the Vikings. Their passing offense 26th, rushing offense 29th, red zone offense 8th, and third down offense 30th. Obviously, they've had some issues offensively. Passing defense 8th, rush defense 23rd, red zone defense 4th, third down defense 2nd. So they do have some very skilled angles with Flores' defense. Their passing rush just 19th, but now they're coming off their bye week. So they were last seen in 21-17 win over the Browns in London, England. And, McCarthy, we watched him sit on the sidelines all year last year. He comes in and he puts up 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to get them past Chicago. He looks terrible in the second spot, and then he gets hurt. Wentz comes in, does the job. We expect McCarthy to be back this week, but it has not been confirmed yet. And Wentz looked very good replacing him. That was a nice touchdown to Addison with 25 seconds left in London, in the London game. And the big part of this defense is Blake Cashman. So they've opened up the 21-day window for Blake Cashman. That is a key part of this injury report that'll come out tomorrow. He is on track to play on Sunday, and I expect him to play on Sunday. So I expect McCarthy and Cashman both to be in the lineup. And there are others coming back. Left guard Donovan Jackson with the wrist injury. Center Michael Juergens with a hamstring injury. Right tackle Brian O'Neill with a knee injury. Running back Aaron Jones must miss at least one more game on injured reserve, so he won't be back. Ryan Kelly, that concussion, he's out indefinitely. So Ryan Kelly's not coming back. And Andrew Van Ginkel. I mean, they're doing this without Cashman and Van Ginkel. He is not cleared to return yet with the neck injury. So whereas the Steelers came back in full health, the Vikings are getting reinforcements, but they are not coming back in full health. Troy Torrence, take it away. A big move towards the Vikings. Floor is yours, my man.
Yeah. I like the spot for the Eagles. Now, I know. I mean, this is the Eagles team that's coming off 2 embarrassing losses. The Vikings coming off 2 games overseas and a bye week, but the Eagles have also had more time to prepare, and they are coming off 2 losses. The last time the Eagles have lost 2 games consecutive, you got to go back. You got to go back deep. I think the Eagles clearly have a better roster. They clearly have a better matchup that I'll get into in a minute with this Vikings offense. I think the market, even in its current state, as long as the Vikings close as dogs with the +1, +1.5, I think it's going to favor me slightly. It's mostly neutral. And look at the Vikings track record. I know they've been beat up. I know they're getting some reinforcements, and Cashman is the key one, the guy that I'm going to be paying attention to the most. But the Vikings, I mean, what have they done this season? Like, look at their wins. They didn't beat up. I mean, they beat the Bears and kind of a miracle comeback in the fourth quarter from J.J. McCarthy, who then turned into a pumpkin and a bum in week 2. They beat the Bengals with Browning on the back of five fumbles, I think, that game. They beat Cleveland and get Dylan Gabriel's first start. I mean, that's not very impressive. And you could look at the Vikings defense, which was once considered one of the league's best. They're struggling to defend the run. They're soft as hell up the middle. Look at Hargrave and Allen. They're getting blown off the ball against the likes of the Browns. They're able to run inside zone on the Vikings team, which shocked me. And I think that's impacting the second level. So Cashman, if he's back in there, he hasn't been, but maybe he makes a difference. I don't know. Ivan Pace, who's one of the best but one of the best run defenders at the linebacker level the past few years, and now he's terrible. Why is that? He's not making any stops. It's because Hargrave and Allen are getting blown up, and not versus very good talent. And I know the Eagles have their struggle. They have some issues on the offensive front, especially on the interior. But I'm kind of making a bet that this Hargrave and Allen are not who they used to be and who we thought they would be. I think Fangio's cross-match defense showed me one thing this past week. I was posting about this in both Discords and the Pub Sports Discord. It's dependent on an elite cornerback play and a good pass rush. Quinyon Mitchell went down. They had no Jalen Carter, and they fell apart. And I think Quinyon Mitchell is going to be recognized as one of the best cornerbacks in the league. It's another prediction I have. I've watched some extra tape on Quinyon Mitchell this season, and back to the Super Bowl last season. He's going to be elite. So if he's fully healthy, if Jalen Carter, I'm expecting him to play. Jimmy, do you think Jalen Carter plays football this week?
I do, but I don't think it's just only because he didn't show up on the injury report till Wednesday. So I just feel like it surprised him. Now, so I don't want to put too much into it, but yeah, I think that I think it's higher than 50-50 that he returns. They've lost 2 straight games. He's a huge piece of the puzzle. So I think he pushes himself back.
Yeah, that's key because we need a pass rush, and that means we need that bull rush coming from the interior, because without him, they were not generating any pressure at all. It was sad to see. So I think my bet on this Eagles team is that Quinyon Mitchell and Jalen Carter are going to be in the game, 2 necessary pieces for Fangio's defense. And the offense, I'm really maybe I need to get my act together, because Jalen Hurts, I mean, he's clearly sleeping. Like, we've seen this early in the season. It's reminiscent of what he did last year. But the difference between this year and last year is they can't freaking run the ball. I don't know what the issue is, really. I mean, it's hard for me to put my finger on watching the tape. Is it scheme-oriented? The right side of the offensive line is getting blown up, but they continue to run that to the right side of the line. They're like the 3rd highest team in running the ball to the right side of the field in the NFL. Why is that if they're just getting blown up over there? Why not get behind your best offensive lineman? Go left. I don't know what's going on. And after watching, like last week, watching the Giants tape again, because I had all Friday and Saturday getting ready for Sunday, watching the Eagles, and I really wanted to watch them for the cover 4, but I watched their offense as well. Hurts is like, okay, so the first 2 possessions, they were running man blocking schemes and they were having success. They quickly resorted after that. Maybe 1 or 2 plays got stopped and they started running zone again, and they were getting killed. I don't know what's going on with this offense and with the offensive play calling, but they got to get something fixed. The other thing they got to get fixed is Jalen Hurts. He's missing big plays in the most important parts of the game. In the 3rd quarter, he missed a throw to Devontae Smith that would have put them in the lead. It was going to go for a touchdown. It was a blown coverage, double move, wide open. All you got to do is put it on him. He's going to run free for 80 yards. Missed him. Thinking back to Denver in the 3rd quarter of that game, I talked about that flipping the game when A.J. Brown ran a double move, a dig and go over the middle of the field, wide open, clear touchdown. All you had to do is put it on him. Missed him. These aren't difficult throws. Like, yes, it's far down the field. It's 20-plus yards. But when you're that wide open, you put it on him. He's overthrowing it, and that's unacceptable. So Jalen Hurts has to wake up. I think that this offense, TJ put it in chat, they're kind of like the Dodgers, where they just have to get into the playoffs. Maybe they're cruising early in the season. I don't know. But I have faith that this Eagles team is going to be able to figure it out. I think they're embarrassed after 2 losses. And I think this is a buy low spot on the Eagles, and that's exactly what I'm doing. They have an advantage in the trenches. They have a quarterback advantage because J.J. McCarthy has not looked very good. He's not very promising. Even in Jalen Hurts' current state, he's better than J.J. McCarthy. You got a quality team coming off 2 losses. I'm buying low on the Eagles. I bet the money line -125.
I agree with the buying low sentiment on the Eagles. I agree with it. Do you think this line is going to stop moving in the direction because we could get an announcement that Jalen Carter is practicing tomorrow, that sort of thing? Do you think it's going to stop? Because it's been moving pretty.
Yeah, I'm shocked to see where it is right now because it's moved more since I've last checked. I mean, where are we looking at the money line price? I mean, it's +1, -1. The 1 is juiced towards Philly. But the money line price, it's still -125, -130. So yeah, I think it's done moving. I think it's done moving. I think we'd be seeing -120s on the board if this was going to start flipping at this point.
Dougie Wise thinks it moves back towards the Eagles. Wager Detective liking the Vikings stand on biz, says Byron Murphy interception.
Wait. Dougie Wise, are you on the Eagles this week? He's been.
Yeah, he just moved on him. -1, -115.
Nice.
Okay. Birdie says, I've heard a lot of folks who tell other folks what to bet have bet Minnesota here so far this week. Coin says 92% tickets, 87% of cash on Philadelphia right now. Not concerning. No, it's concerning.
It's concerning.
It's certainly concerning. I don't know.
But at the same time, you look at the history of this line movement. I mean, I think about the Chiefs. Maybe the Chiefs should be just treated as an outlier because all that money, the line was moving away from a reverse line movement. But I have the receipts to what I'm about to tell you. the more cash on the road team in this spot, as long as they close +1, +1.5, is bullish. The move from 2, 2.5 to 1, it's not that big of a deal.
Troy Torrance, Eagles money line. This game is going to require more work and study and want to watch the market. Let's roll on. Next up for us, 1 p.m. Eastern, Carolina Panthers have been very good to me this year at the New York Jets. Panthers 0-3 on the road. Jets 0-4 at home. Jets, of course, 0-6 on the year. MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. 69 Fahrenheit, partly sunny, 7-mile-per-hour winds. Let's take a look at this line history here. We have the Carolina Panthers -2 at -110. The look ahead was +2.5. It did close at +2.5. It reemerged on Sunday evening, 6:54 p.m. at a pick'em. And the Panthers got up to -2.5 at 5 this morning. They're now -2. So a very legit move towards the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, the flipping happened here, right? Jets open favorites.
From the look ahead, not from the reemergence. It reemerged as a pick'em, but from the look ahead. The total here is a 42. The look ahead was 45, and it dropped to 44. Reemerged at 44.5, and we've dropped 2.5 points since then. 2.5 points since then. So let's roll. Wager Detective on the Panthers -2. I love the sounds of that, TJ. Go get it. So here we go. Let's talk about the Panthers first. 20th ranked passing offense, 2nd ranked rushing offense. Carolina Panthers. Red zone offense ranked 15th. 63.2% of the time they're scoring touchdowns. Their third down offense ranked 19th. They're converting 39.2% of the time. Their passing defense has been a real problem. It's currently ranked 27th by Pro Football Focus, while their rush defense has been pretty good, ranked 9th. Red zone defense 19th at 60%. Third down defense 12th at 38.2%. And their pass rush has been a problem, ranked 29th in the NFL. Look, I've backed them at home. You know, I made the whole point last week how this team is undefeated at home, and let's bet them again. But I don't know who would want them on the road. They come in off an impressive 27-24 victory at home over the Cowboys. The noise-canceled score was 30-24. The Panthers outgained the Cowboys 410-292. Bryce Young was 17-25 for 199 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Rico Dowdle was a monster against his former team, but he's been a monster in back-to-back weeks. He has 473 yards from scrimmage over his last 2 weeks. That's a franchise record. He also became the 7th NFL player in the last 20 years to post back-to-back 200-yard games. His 239 yards on Sunday also set a franchise record. It had been 237 set twice by Christian McCaffrey. So now it's Rico's. He ran 30 times for 183 yards, led receivers by catching 4 passes for 56 and a touchdown. The Panthers outgained the Cowboys on the ground 216-31. But the 29th ranked pass rush wasn't visible. 0 sacks, 2 quarterback hits. They did manage to hold the Cowboys to 204 in the red zone, and they're still dealing with injuries. Taylor Motton, they're a great tackle. He was inactive last week. Chuba Hubbard, inactive last week. Tight end Jatavian Sanders and defensive tackle Treshaun Wharton all were inactive last week, and they're all listed as questionable this week. Let's talk about the New York Jets, who got us paid last week. I know it was not pretty, but they got us paid. Passing offense 17th, rushing offense 24th. I was certain if I wrote Tyrod Taylor into Google, Tyrod Taylor starting, that I would have articles coming up saying, will the Jets expect to start Tyrod Taylor? But none of those articles menaced when I wrote it into Google. Red zone offense 16th, third down offense 2nd worst in the NFL, 30.3% of the time they convert. Their passing defense 28th, rush defense 8th, red zone defense 18th, third down defense 9th. And we did not expect this Jets pass rush to be as weak as it's been. 22nd ranked pass rush. So they returned from the UK after an ugly 13-11 loss to the Broncos. The noise-canceled score was 15-7 Broncos. So they were very fortunate. They averaged 1.4 yards per play. They produced 32 net yards in the first half. That's the fewest by any NFL team in the first half this season. Justin Fields was 9-17 for 45 yards. That's it. No touchdowns, no picks. He also ran 7 times for 31 yards. It was Josh Reynolds who led receivers with 3 catches for 25 yards. They finished -10 net yards passing. That is the fewest in franchise history. That's also the fewest the Broncos have ever allowed in their franchise history. It was also the fewest in any NFL game since the Chargers had minus 19 against the Kansas City Chiefs in Ryan Leaf's third career start in 1998.
Wasn't he the first overall pick?
He was.
Right.
Isn't that just disturbing numbers here? Breece Hall ran 22 times for 59 yards. The Jets were 2 of 15 on third down, did not make it into the red zone. The offensive line could not hold the Broncos back. Denver had 9 sacks, but the defense tried to keep the Jets in it, held Denver to 5-15 on third down, 1 of 2 in the red zone. The pass rush was meek once again, 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits. They have 4 sacks in their past 5 games. I did not expect that. And then we have Garrett Wilson now with this hip issue. He was holding his ribs, he was holding his hip. He told reporters it wasn't his hip, but he wouldn't provide further details. And then the MRI comes out, hyperextended knee. He's going to miss a couple weeks. So there's not going to be Garrett Wilson in the lineup. Cam Jones, linebacker, also left with hip injuries. Cornerback Michael Carter was inactive, and he's listed as questionable this week. Take it away here for us, Troy Torrence. Panthers haven't won on the road. Jets haven't won at home, haven't won this year. Who do you like here at MetLife Stadium?
I like the Jets. I currently have only moved on them in a teaser. I paired them with the Colts. I got both teams +8. But how could you even consider backing the Panthers? I know what we've seen from this Jets team leaves a lot to be desired. But this Panthers team, excuse me.
Big Tatum wants in, man. It's all good. But the Jets +8, Colts +8 is the teaser?
Yep, Jets +8, Colts +8 is my teaser. Got it -120. Got to be betting teasers -120. Panthers coming off 2 consecutive home wins. Now they travel. We've seen what happens after a win on traveling. We've seen them going to New England Patriots get their faces stomped in. This team is clearly, you've mentioned it many times, Panthers is clearly bet on at home, and they're fade on the road. I got to experience the opposite side of that by getting killed with the Cowboys. I just don't think Canales is going to be able to scheme up a way to effectively run the football. 200+ rushing yards in consecutive games against the 2 worst run defenses in the NFL, and the Cowboys and the Dolphins. And that's after the running game was inept in the first 3 weeks. If the Panthers can't run the football, I think their offense is going to fall apart. Now, the Jets, they've proven a few times that they're capable of stopping the run. They held Denver to very minimal yards. They held Bucky to under 3 yards. I think he was at 2.6 yards per carry. Their PFF, the run defense, is their strongest suit. They're ranked 11th. I just don't think the Panthers are going to be able to run the ball down the Jets' throat. That's going to take away all the things they pivot to in terms of their offensive scheme. The Jets' passing defense, I expect to see more man coverage, knowing Aaron Glenn and knowing he has sauce. And I think that's perfectly fitting. I mean, who does this, stop the run, put sauce on McMillan, and I think the Jets defense is going to be in good shape. And this is after many weeks of me doubting and saying the Jets are what they put on tape and what they put on paper, which they've been terrible. They've underperformed for 2 consecutive years, but this is a perfect match for the Jets team at home. It's hard to make a case for this offense. I don't even want to try to make a case for this offense. But what I will say is I have this line flipping from Jets from favorites to dogs. And historically, I've talked about this, and it does matter if the home team's flipping from dog to favorite or favorite to dog. It does make a difference. But I'm just going to talk about when it flips from home favorite to home dog, like I've seen here. Like I'm going to document after this game, if they do close as dogs, home team in non-divisional games, non-primetime games, flip from dog to favorite, or from favorite to dog in this case, 10-4 straight up, 10-4 ATS. So I have the market signing off. I see matchups that I like on the field, and I think the situation lines up. Jets have not gotten a win. I think Aaron Glenn is not going to let his team sleep until he gets the win. And, I believe that the Jets get the win here. I haven't moved on it on the side, just stand alone yet, but I'm considering it.
I think that we have to play the Panthers as simple as it sounds. Fade them on the road and back them at home. In saying that, TJ's right when he says, can you believe those stats? And yet, can you imagine those offensive numbers and still covering? But this is a pretty simple, buy the Jets low and sell the Panthers high. The problem is that's a pretty legit move. So I did look at a couple other books, and they did open it up with the Jets -1 and now have them +2. So it was the pick 'em where we used to play poker, but some sharp books have done that.
I mean, yeah, this has got to be betting.
It has to be.
No.
It has to be. I think. I'm gonna not bet this tonight. I want to see a sign from the books that they're a little uncomfortable with some Jets money coming in. So
I'm going to be the one that's hopping in now. Here, I'm taking the Jets on the money line, and so I have the parlay or the teaser with them up to +8. And I got the money line, and I'm going to get a price right now +108.
I respect it. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm interested in the Jets. It's a pretty simple situation for me. I just Birdie says, isn't this movement to get Jets money? Yeah, probably. I'd like to see what happens when they get it. If this goes to 2.5, I mean. Oh wow, it did go through. Okay, man, Bear Pig. Sorry, my timing was poor there, fellas. Jets +108 here for Troy. And TJ says he's with Troy. He's on the Jets 3 different ways. He also said this is a bettor's dream, biggest bet of the year, Jets.
No shit. TJ, did you take an alt? So he took, I'm sure he took like maybe an alt line -2.5, -3.5.
Well, that's here. I'm interested in joining you guys. I'm interested in joining you guys, but I'm not going to do it tonight. I really want to sit with it, but I respect. I find it there's a lot of simplistic angles in this game that I really like. When it gets a little more complicated with the X's and O's, there's obviously concern backing the Jets, but this should be their first win of the season. It should be, but they are coming back from the UK. But God, how could this not be a buy extremely low spot? So I'll study it a little bit more, but we have TJ big bet, Troy Torrence moving in 2 different ways, TJ moving in 3 different ways on the New York Jets. That concludes 1 p.m. action here. So he bet the -2.5 on the open, bet the money line at +115, and bet them +2. That's exciting, but I'm going to need to sit with it. We roll on afternoon action, 4:05 p.m. Eastern. The New York Giants 2-4, 0-3 on the road, just like these Carolina Panthers that we just discussed. Denver Broncos 4-2 and 2-0 at home. Empower Field at Mile High. Oh, by the way, I think I failed to talk about the splits in that last game. 53% of the tickets, 51% of cash on Carolina, 94% of tickets on the under, 88% cash on the under. Here we move on to Giants Broncos. So let's set up the line history in the cash flow for Giants Broncos, our first afternoon spot. The Giants are +6.5 at -102. They opened up, well, the look ahead was 8, closed at 7.5, reemerged at 7.5, and it's now a 6.5. The 6.5, if you want the Giants, is a no vig situation. It's juiced the other way. From a total standpoint here, we have this at 40.5, juiced pretty heavily here to the under. The look ahead was 41, reemerged at 40, and it's now at 40.5, but it's juiced in, -116 towards the under. And then cash flow for Giants Broncos. Broncos have 56% of the tickets and 63% of the cash. 60% of tickets are on the over, and 95% of cash on the over, which is surprising. Man Bear Pig says Giants money line loves this spot. And we have Harold Williams leaning towards the Giants +7.5. Vincent Hawkins says Denver rolls. Giants passing offense ranked 25th, but their rushing offense ranked 4th. And Scatterboo has these guys believing. Jackson Dart has these guys believing. Red zone offense 40.9%. Third down offense 18th, 39.5%. Their passing defense is 11th. Rush defense 22nd. Red zone defense 58.8%, which is about 19th in the NFL. I think it is 19th. I didn't write it down there, but their third down defense is 16th. They allow conversions 39.5% of the time. And this Giants team has the 10th best pass rush in the league. Giants coming off a very impressive 34-17 victory at home over the defending champion Eagles. They get really excited about playing at home. Their fans are getting excited about them. But what happens when they get on the road? Here against the Eagles on Thursday night, so they have the extra rest. Jackson Dart was 17 of 25 for 195 yards and a touchdown, no interceptions. He also ran 13 times for 58 yards and a touchdown. Scadaboo ran 19 times for 98 yards and 3 touchdowns, caught 2 passes for 12 yards. Wandale Robinson caught 6 passes for 84 yards and a touchdown, and he's looked very good. Darius Slayton did not play because of a hamstring injury. So it's very, very important for Wandale to step up. Of course, Malik Neighbors done for the year. They were 11 of 16 on third down and a perfect 3 for 3 in the red zone. The defense looked excellent. Held the Eagles to 1 of 9 on third down. Drew Phillips recovered a fumble. Pass rush had 3 sacks, 3 quarterback hits. Brian Burns got 2 of them. So he's now tied for the NFL lead in sacks with 7. Cordell Flott had that crucial interception that he ran back 68 yards to the red zone. Their center, John Michael Schmitz, injured his nose and was concussed on a collision in the third quarter. So he's in concussion protocol. Defensive tackle DJ Davidson injured his right knee on the tush push. So we're not sure if he'll be in the lineup. We'll have to wait till Wednesday. And as I said, Darius Slayton did not play. So that is the Giants. Let's talk about these Broncos. Passing offense ranked 24th. Rush offense ranked 17th. Red zone offense ranked 12th. And their third down offense has been a problem. It's 24th. They're only converting 36.6% of the time. Then we have their pass defense 14th. Oh, I love it, TJ. Great work. Pass defense 14th. Rush defense 11th. Red zone defense 28.6%. It is a phenomenal red zone defense. It is number 1 in the NFL, and their third down defense is number 1 in the NFL, allowing conversions 27.2% of the time. Their pass rush ranked 7th. They returned to the UK after an ugly 13-11 win over the Jets. The noise-canceled score was 15-7 Broncos. They shut down the Jets in every conceivable way, held them to 1.4 yards per play, held them to 32 net yards in the first half. Jets finished with a minus 10 net yard passing, as fewest in franchise history. We talked about that in the Jets breakdown, fewest allowed by the Broncos in their history. Broncos defense had 9 sacks and 17 quarterback hits. Bo Nix was 19 of 30 for 174 and a touchdown, also ran 5 times for 24 yards. And Evan Ingram led receivers with 5 catches for 42 yards. And we made a big deal about Evan Ingram in our futures episode because last year, the Broncos had the worst rated tight ends by far in the NFL. And Evan Ingram has changed that. We have our guy Spenny Penny Bombs making moves here with J.K. Dobbins. He led the ground game with 14 carries for 40 yards. They held the Jets to 2 of 15 on third down, didn't let them run a play from the red zone. But that is the Jets. And these are the Giants with a lot of hope. Very interested in your cap here. Take it away, Troy. Giants, Broncos.
This was a really tough game for me, and I'm going back and forth. Now, the market itself, the history is pretty telling, in my opinion. And we backed where the market currently sits is where we backed the Broncos against the Bengals a few weeks back, where the line moved towards the Bengals. It closed 7.5. And home teams in that situation historically cover at ridiculous rates. But as soon as it starts trickling down to 6.5, then you start to see the history flip in favor of the road team. So we'll see where this ends up. At certain points in my handicap, I wanted to go both ways. I think this Broncos team, my first initial reaction to seeing this line is they're getting way too much respect in the marketplace. We talked about the regression. We know the defenses are going to regress, and I think we've seen that, but it's still very legit, and the offense is well below average. Only 4.3 yards per play against the New York Jets after they've looked piss poor. Couldn't generate any pass rush in the run game. Couldn't generate any push in the run game. They struggled to throw from the pocket. The first time the O-line struggled to protect all season. They were giving up some pressure. This is a team that could very easily, in my opinion, be 2-4 on the season. They beat the Eagles, they beat the Jets, but if the Jets were competent at all, they would have pulled that game out. And Bo Nix, in my circle, is everyone's favorite quarterback. I think he's completely inept under pressure. Luckily, he's pressured at the lowest rate in the league, but he's bottom 5 in yards per attempt, and bottom 5 in PFF grade. There were very few plays that just stick out to me like a sore thumb, where 2 of them were play actions on third down, where I was like, I thought he was clearly trying to throw the game, clearly some mob shit going on, because it made absolutely no sense. He completely ignored wide open receivers for easy completions. On one of the plays, he decided to throw the ball into coverage. On the other play, he decided to run the ball out of bounds when his first read was right in front of him, wide open. It made absolutely no sense. If I were a Broncos fan and I seen that, I'd be either thinking like, oh, we're trying to throw this game, or I'd be heavily concerned that my quarterback is a bum. And on the opposite side, like I'm bullish on the Giants, to be honest. I mean, I was way wrong about Jackson Dart, but what he was able to do, well, let's just go through it. I mean, he was completely inept versus the Chargers, who run a cover 3, cover 4 scheme. They have a too high safety look pre-flop pretty much every play, and they fell victim in their second game to turnovers and fumbles. So it was like, who is this team? Because he did look better in the second game, but then the fumble started happening, the interception happened, and things just fell apart. Then he exploded against Philadelphia, who also ran that same cover 4 scheme that he saw with the Chargers, and I thought it was very impressive. Like, you didn't hear me crying not once about variance in that game. The 9.7 ADOT, very healthy. 7.8 yards per attempt. His pressure to sack rate was only 15%. It's very good. 104 passer rating and a 90 PFF grade. It was an elite performance. Obviously, he shows his mobility, his ability to extend plays, and how explosive he could be with his legs. Once he broke a run, he put one move on Bond and left him in the dust. I mean, it was impressive. Dart's a bet-on guy. It's just in this spot, he showed that he could be competent at home. He really hasn't shown a sustained competence on the road yet. Giants defense is 10th per PFF. And like I've discussed in the past, like they're heavily centralized because their pass rush and their defensive line is really all they got. They struggle to make tackles in the open field, but other than that, like they've been pretty damn impressive. Held Philly to just 17 points, New Orleans to 26 points, and that includes a defensive touchdown, and 5 turnovers. The Chargers to 18 points and 4.3 yards per attempt. The New Orleans Saints, or who is it? New Orleans, or they play? I'm missing one. And Washington in week 1, 21 points. Despite having a completely inept offense that couldn't move the ball, they were punting. They were in terrible field position all game long. The only game where this defense got dusted was against Dallas, and Dak's been doing that to everybody. There's a lot of things to like about this Giants team and the way they're heading. They're young, and that's the problem. Is they're heading on the road. It's going to be a hostile environment. You want to sell high on a Giants team with a rookie quarterback in this type of spot. But it's like how bad the Broncos have been. If they could score 17 or more points, I think they cover the spread. But then you look at the action coming in. Like, the public loves them some Jackson Dart. Reminds me of Bo Nix. It's a really tough market to figure out. I talked about it a little bit, but all the money in terms of action is coming in on the Giants. And the line's moving their way. The Broncos just looked horrible against the Jets. And I think that I go back and forth. I really have no action in this game. I believe that if it closes 7 or higher, it's a Broncos spot. If it closes below 7, it's a Giant spot.
Yeah, I cannot buy the Giants as high as they are right now.
Right.
A team that's not won on the road. But this number is extremely enticing, but I'm not going to do it.
Can you back the Broncos then?
No. But
so in your pick'em pool, who are you going to play in this one?
I'll follow so it's a Yahoo pool. So the lines are not always appropriate. So anytime I get a half point or more, I bet it every single time because I know in the long run that will pay out. So it's a little different. And then I also fade the public enormously because most of those, but it's just, you'll have 80% on one side and to fade that. But so if the line, like you said, if the line closes at 6.5, I think I'll be forced probably to be on the Giants. I'll just follow the line here. And then Topset says totals obvious tease. Either team should get you the money or middle it. And then Donut Silk says Denver just about lost to Tennessee at home. So this doesn't appeal to me because I don't want to be involved with the Broncos. I want to fade the Broncos, but I cannot buy the Giants this high. So it looks like I'm not involved. We also hear of a lot of people liking the under. Birdie liking the under here. The Giants do scare me with totals because I don't think their defense is very good, and I think we have proof of that. But I don't want to be betting overs in Denver. So I guess I'm off of the spot. What would you move if you had a free bet on the total right now? Would you be looking under?
Yeah, I'd be looking under this total.
Do you think
But
you could get there?
Default to unders. I pretty much default to unders all the time. So
Oh, I hear that. Okay, well let's roll on to our next spot on the board here. We head to SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California, home of the Los Angeles Chargers. I just love them. I've never been in this situation before. So many.
all right. Give me the Colts money line.
Well, I bet the Colts on the look ahead, which didn't work out for me. I got the minus 110 on the look ahead, and now I could have got better here. So I am on the Colts. I sent my Pops action in already. He's on, of course, the Colts. He took half with plus 1.5, half with the money line. And I sent it in. This total look ahead was 48. It is a 48 right now. And then from a point spread scenario here, we have the Colts plus 1.5. I see twos now. And the Charvarius Ward getting hurt in warmups is a problem. It's not going to be a big enough problem. Drewski on the Chargers money line. D. Jenkins says, why are the Chargers favored here? It's very simple why the Chargers are favored here. Their stats are still strong. Even though we've been making the most money we've ever made before fading in the last few weeks, and everybody tells me I'm wrong multiple times a day. Not just wrong, but wrong big. Let's talk about the spot and get into the line history here. We did that. Sorry. So we have the look ahead here it opened up the look ahead with the Colts plus 1.5, but they started getting hammered in the look ahead. It closes at a pick 'em. I was late. I know sports scientist Jacob got the plus 1.5. I was late. This by the end of the look ahead was minus 1.5. It reemerges with the Colts minus 2. So on Sunday morning, I guess that wasn't the reemergence. That was just the Colts were getting hammered in the look ahead market. So it closed at minus 2. So then it reemerges at 7:15 p.m. on Sunday night at plus 1.5. It starts getting bet again to a pick 'em, and then the Chargers money comes in. This might be a little different for me here. Gorky has the Colts money line as well. I'm not sure if the investment is going to be as big as it's been the last 2 weeks at this point. When we get to that total, it's already a 48. So let's take a look at the cash flow then. And we have only information on the side. 75% of the tickets are on the Colts and 60% of the cash. So we'll start with the Colts. Their passing offense ranked 10th, rushing offense ranked 5th, red zone offense 10th. They're scoring touchdowns 65.5% of the time, and their third down offense is second in the NFL. They convert 47% of the time. Their passing defense is 18th, rush defense 26th, red zone defense 15th. And their third down defense for the Colts is the third worst in the NFL. They allow conversions 48% of the time, and the pass rush is 13th. TJ says the market always adjusts. You take advantage huge for 2 weeks, time to back off. I mean, I have one unit in already, and that might just be where it stands here.
Jimmy, I mean, to be honest, like the questions I start asking myself, why are the Chargers favored? Why is the line moving their way despite all the action opposing them? Does this remind you of any other markets we've seen recently? The Chiefs game.
Yes. Yes, it is. It is. And let's talk about the Colts first, though. They're coming off an underwhelming 31-27 victory at home over the Colts. The noise-canceled score was even worse, 29-27. The Cardinals outgained the Colts 400-355 with Brissett in the lineup. Daniel Dimes was 22-30 for 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception. He also ran 5 times for 20 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Warren led receivers with 6 catches for 63 yards, touchdown. Jonathan Taylor had another monster day, running 21 times for 123 yards and a touchdown. Colts were 4 of 8 on third down and a perfect 4 of 4 in the red zone. But the defense looked very vulnerable. They let the Cardinals go 9 of 14 on third down, 3 of 6 in the red zone. Pass rush had 2 sacks, 12 quarterback hits. Mekhi Blackman had an interception. And Kenny Moore out with the Achilles tendon injury. It hurts. And then Charvarius Ward losing him in pregame warm-ups when he collides with Ogletree. And then Anthony Richardson, I do want Anthony Richardson as the backup quarterback. And he is now a fractured orbital bone from the bands. So he could be out for a long time. What an idiot, by the way. Then we get the Chargers passing off. Look at these stats. I mean, this is why. I mean, this is everyone's like, well, how can you keep, making so much money off fading the Chargers? Because their passing offense ranked 8th and the rushing offense is ranked 1st. And yet their red zone offense is the worst in the NFL. Like, it's just fucking heaven. Their third down offense is 5th. Their pass defense ranked 4th. Their rush defense ranked 4th. Their red zone defense ranked 2nd. Does anybody think they have a great defense? Look at these numbers. The numbers tell you that they have a great defense, but we know they don't. Their pass rush, is 3rd worst in the league. So there's a bit of a problem there. They're coming off a 29-27 win at Miami. Miami's terrible. The noise canceled score, which we talked about already, 29-19 Chargers, is based, as Troy put it, on the 7 opportunities in the red zone, of which they only cashed twice. Herbert was 29-38 for 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. McConkey caught 7 passes for 100 yards and a touchdown. And Vidal ran 18 times for 124 yards, caught 3 for 14. The Chargers could have put the game away several times, but they're not a good football team. And they allowed the Dolphins to put up 6.1 yards per play, go 2 of 3 in the red zone. The 30th ranked pass rush finished with 2 sacks and 4 quarterback hits. It looked a little stronger. Ofe coming over from the Rams really helps them. Derwin James, Tony Jefferson, and Benjamin St. Juste all had interceptions. Look, I'm not sure if I'm done fading the Chargers. Maybe it is just a 1-unit spot here. If Charvarius Ward didn't get hurt, or if Charvarius Ward came back, I might add to it. W.Y. says what they do have is a great quarterback. The people that I really respect that watch him every single game don't think he's a great quarterback. They think he's a good quarterback. And there's a big difference there. Take it away for us here, Troy. Colts, Chargers.
Herbert always kind of does that too. He's like a much better version of Geno Smith, where he tricks you into thinking that he's something that he's not. And I kind of see that with Justin Herbert. The more I've heard you give the spiel about the Chargers the past few weeks, I shouldn't call it a spiel. That's downplaying it. When I've seen you be completely accurate about this Chargers team the past 2 weeks, and I'm kind of jealous that I haven't been in on them, that makes me want to have FOMO in this spot and bet the Colts. But there's just too many things working against it here, mainly the market, which I just kind of tied as a corollary to the Chiefs this past week, where this line, I mean, it's almost an identical line movement and cash flow and splits that we're looking at. And it just makes me think scheduled loss for the Chiefs is just a mob shit enforced by Roger Goodell. I don't know how to handle this market again, and it's making me spooked a little bit. But the Chargers are about as low in the market as I've seen them in a long time. I mean, the noise cancel score 29-19, giving up the 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, nearly losing that game. There you said the 2 for 7, right? Only winning by 2 points despite winning the turnover battle 3-1. That's a terrible sign. The pass block and run block fall to 27th and 28th respectively. And that's after, they've fallen from grace. They were top 15 in both categories just a few weeks ago. So those offensive line injuries are mattering. It does matter. And it doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter how good Herbert is or how good his weapons are or how good the offensive scheme is. If you can't compete in the trenches, you're not going to have sustainability. You're not going to be successful offensively. I think the Chargers defense is all they have left at this point. I mean, 21 of the 27 points came in unusual circumstances, 2 touchdowns in garbage time. The 1 touchdown, 49-yard touchdown run off the Chargers fumble. I think the Chargers defense is legit. It's well coached. It's disciplined. So I think the Chargers are kind of in a buy low spot. And on the Colts side, it's the exact opposite. They're in the sell high spot, right? They barely escaped with the win. They were not ready for Mr. Brissett, who I called as being like, I would much rather have Kyler Murray. If I was fading the Cardinals, I'd rather have Kyler Murray in the game. And I don't care how talented someone is. The quarterback position is dominated by IQ. Brissett's IQ is 5 times higher than that of Kyler Murray. The offense for this Colts team, I believe, is a juggernaut. I mean, eventually they're going to slip and fall, but that doesn't mean that they're not a juggernaut. If they have one or two bad performances, the scheme is elite, that they're above average in the trenches. They have complementary weapons all over the football field and a quarterback that can execute the game plan with a pretty good IQ. The defense leaves a lot to be desired. And without Charvarius Ward, I would have to say this is a below average unit if Charvarius Ward is not on the field. Having that one staple, that one cornerback, an island boy, that changes the game completely. I want to see how this market develops. I haven't made a move. I did bet the Colts on a teaser. I don't think that the Chargers are going to blow out anybody at this point. So I got the Jets +8, Colts +8 on a teaser. I just don't know what I'm going to do on the side or if I'm going to do anything at all.
You know, this is no different than every other show we've had the last 2 weeks. People telling me don't get sucked in by the team I'm betting on, but I'm not betting on them. I'm just fading the Chargers. It's people saying this is a great buy low spot on the Chargers. It's all the same.
Aligned. It's definitely aligned with the Commanders game too. Like, what was it? Let's see. I'll go back and look at that cash flow because it wasn't like last week where the line was moving towards the Dolphins, but it was like the first week you said fade where the line, and that was more of a blowout than last week. So
I tell you, this is all the exact same. Everybody's saying, I'm getting the same things. I'm sure I'll have friends tell me how wrong I am. But I'm not going to have as much money as I've had fading the Chargers, but
diminishing returns. It makes sense to reduce your investment against them.
But I already have that one unit on the look ahead, and then I expect to add one. But I'm going to wait at this point. Again, we broke it all down. Now, look, could Joe Alt return? Yeah. Would that help them? It would help them immensely. Their pass rush changed with the trade that they had with the Ravens. It got a little bit stronger.
Is that why this line's moving? Is it Joe Alt? I would like to see that Joe Alt is in if that's the case. Like if Joe Alt is out and we're still looking at this number.
Yeah, I think we need to know a lot here. TJ says you can't deny that you are buying the Colts at an all-time high. I can deny that. The Colts just look terrible against the Cardinals. So I don't think this week it's the all-time high. The Chargers are, so all I'm saying right now is I do not want the Colts here. I didn't want the Commanders and I didn't want the Dolphins. There's no different than these. I just want to fade the Chargers. Ziggy Ball says all the money on the Colts, yet the spread is going towards the Chargers. It's because, Ziggy, the statistics tell you that the Chargers are a good football team. And if you have been betting them, then you've lost a lot of money. So
luckily, I got out of them in the nick of time because somebody was extremely bullish. So I made money by saving money, essentially. And that's all because of you, Jimmy, to be honest.
But I don't want, like, when I see the Colts at 5-1, I understand that it's not really what we're dealing with. So again, this will take more time. We want to see if the Chargers get reinforcements. And, I've been studying their injury status and going over their injury status. I've been doing it for, nonstop. Every day I go on to their injury status and see, what the situation is. What we know is that Pipkins is hurt. So now they have a Salyer hurt, Jamari. So there's another guard hurt. Joe Alt is obviously absolutely crucial. They had no ability to stop the run when Deshaun Hand got hurt 2 weeks ago. It just changed everything. He got hurt. We already know they're down Khalil Mack and Denzel Perryman. The only issue here is will they get Joe Alt back? Maybe that will change something here. I bet the Colts on the look ahead. At this point, I have a unit on it. My Pops has 350 on it, 175 money line, 175 spread, which is probably a tiny bit more than a unit for him. I would say his unit size is probably 300. And I'm, it's been the best situation I've ever been in before, and I don't think it's over. But do we want to see whether if Joe Alt's not back, then I hammer it again. If Joe Alt's not back and Charvarius Ward says I'm good to go, but that if you watched what happened to Charvarius Ward, it was pretty violent and scary.
Yeah.
Okay, let's roll on here. Colts teaser you have, Troy, right now.
Yes, sir.
And that's it at this point.
Yes.
Okay, let's roll on. Next spot for us here, 4:35 p.m. Eastern. We have a nice divisional showdown. Commanders 3-3, 1-2 on the road at Dallas Cowboys 2-3-1, 1-0-1 at home. We're at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We have a 55. We've been working with all these low totals. I mean, it's so much higher than every other game here. Now, Tampa Detroit is 53 on Monday, but we don't have the highest other total on the Sunday card is a 48. But here we have a 55. This look ahead was 52.5. It got bet up to 53.5. That's what it reemerged at 53.5 and has climbed up to 55. That is very, very high.
What?
When we get to the spread, we have Washington -1 at -120. The look ahead was -2, got up to 2.5, and then came out again Sunday night at 2.5, and now we're down to a 1. So there's been a really legit move towards the Cowboys here. When we get to the cash flow for this one, we have 57% of the tickets and 85% of the cash on Washington. The books don't seem to care at all. Circa's down to a 1.5, so is FanDuel. Then we have 87% of tickets on the over and 89% of cash on the over, and a clear move towards the over. Commanders passing offense 4th and rushing offense 8th in the league. Their red zone offense is 5th. They've been scoring touchdowns 73.3% of the time. But their third down offense is a problem, 29th in the league, and their passing defense is the worst in the NFL. The worst in the NFL, and the Chargers could do nothing against them. Rush defense is 3rd. Red zone defense 10th. Third down defense 11th, and their pass rush 15th. Commanders are on a short week after a 25-24 home loss to the Bears on Monday night. Jaden Daniels was 19-26 for 211 yards, 3 touchdowns, interception. He also ran 10 times for 52 yards, fumbled twice, losing one of them. Chris Moore led receivers with 3 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt ran 17 times for 61 yards, but he lost another fumble. Commanders had 3 turnovers. That was their total in the first 5 games of the year. Again, you know that the luck is going to stop for these teams. And we saw it with the Jaguars. We saw it with the Commanders, different ways. The offense was just 3 of 8 on third down, had just 1 red zone opportunity, of which they cashed. The defense held the Bears to 3 of 11 on third and fourth down and 1 of 3 in the red zone, but allowed them to put up 6.5 yards per play. Pass rush, 3 sacks, 5 quarterback hits. So there was no Noah Brown, who's missed 4 straight games. Terry McLaurin's missed 3 straight games. It's a problem. Sam Cosmi was inactive. He's been dealing with knee and ACL issues. He's on the PUP list. He can return for this. That would be a huge help for them. Dorrance Armstrong at defensive end hurt his hamstring, but he came back in the third quarter, picked up his 6th sack of the season, then got left again. So he's dealing with it. He's dealing with the hamstring issues, so we'll have to take a look at the injury report because it's a short week for them. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys coming off the 27-24 loss at the Panthers. Their passing offense ranked 3rd, rushing offense ranked 9th, red zone offense 11th. It's a good team. Their third down offense is strong, much stronger, 10%, over 10% stronger than the Commanders. And their defense is the issue. Their pass defense is 29th, and their rush defense is the worst in the NFL. Their red zone defense is 21st. Their third down defense is the worst in the NFL. Their pass rush is ranked 15th. The noise-canceled score in their loss to the Panthers was 30-24 Panthers. Panthers outgained the Cowboys 410 to 292 and outgained them on the ground 216 to 31. Dak was 25 of 34 for 261 yards, 3 touchdowns. And George Pickens caught 9 passes for 168 yards and a touchdown, a career high. But the Cowboys averaged 1.6 yards per rush. It's a real problem. Cowboys were 5 of 12 on third down, 2 of 4 in the red zone. The pass rush was very quiet, 1 sack, did get 5 quarterback hits. Donovan Wilson had an interception. Cowboys held the Panthers to 2 of 4 in the red zone and 3 of 8 on third down. CeeDee Lamb and Kevontae Turpin, they're both inactive, not on IR. Jack Sanborn, the linebacker, and guard Tyler Booker were inactive. They're all listed as questionable this week. Take it away for us here, Troy Torrence, Commanders, Cowboys, AT&T Stadium. Nice rivalry game here.
I mean, I'm biased in this game. I think the Commanders are in a tough spot. I think that this team is a fade. I think the offense is starting to look more and more like they're in some trouble. It just reminds me of C.J. Stroud in his second season. We got one full season of Jaden Daniels film. And once you give a defensive coordinator, a good defensive coordinator, which you can argue Eberflus is not, this defense certainly is Swiss cheese for the Cowboys. So I don't know if it's very applicable here, but you're going to see his production regression despite more weapons at his disposal. I mean, it's more about containing his mobility than defending the pass in the first place. Defensively, the secondary, I mean, it cannot be saved by a good scheme. Lattimore is completely washed. He's too slow. It's way too slow to play outside cornerback. They got to move him in the slot. They got to do something with him. Maybe put him at safety. He's done as the outside cornerback. They have nobody really in the secondary. Completely reliant on a good pass rush that the Bears completely neutralized. And despite being a good run D, they got exposed multiple times. I mean, the Bears exposed them. The Falcons exposed them. I think this team is a fade. And it's just a tough matchup, generally speaking. You know, the Cowboys with Dak Prescott, who's playing at an elite level right now, you know, if the pass rush is all this Washington Commanders team has, it's going to be even more of a problem because Dak Prescott's the best quarterback in the league under pressure. By far. It's not even close. CD returns, the secondary is going to be in trouble. And on the other hand, I don't see these defenses making many stops. That's why the total is so damn high. Market history would say there's a sliver of value on the Cowboys money line, but ATS is really 50-50. I think that this is either way you bet this game right now, I think it's a bad bet. I would bet the under. I would say the under is the best bet in this game. Total's too high.
It's so high. See, I think the Commanders are fraudulent. Yeah. And everyone's very low on the Cowboys. So I think this line move to the Cowboys says all I need to know. I'm not done fading the Commanders. I didn't want anything to do with the Commanders against the Chargers. I just wanted to fade the Chargers. And the Commanders were on their way to be down 17-0 at the start of that game. We're fortunate that it wasn't 17-0. Now they came back and outscored, the Chargers 27-0 the rest of the way. I felt so comfortable fading the Commanders. We took the team total over against them with the Bears, and we took the Bears. I don't think the Commanders are a very good football team, but people think that Cowboys are trash.
Right.
I think we should use that to our advantage and bet the Cowboys, but there's a ton of volatility here. Like, if I was to bet the Cowboys tonight, I wouldn't be sitting here going, oh, man, this is going to cash for sure. I like the spot I'm in. I like the buy low spot on Dallas. They've looked great at home. What happens if the Packers go to Washington? You think that ends up as a tie game? I think the Packers beat the Commanders in Washington, and they couldn't beat the Cowboys in Dallas. I want Dallas here. Dougie White says he hears CeeDee Lamb will be back. You probably want to get in on it before. That's what I want to hear, Peanut.
I think so. I think so, Jimmy. CeeDee Lamb's coming back this game, and I'm going to make the bet right now. I'm moving on the Cowboys.
I agree. I think the Cowboys at home, especially off of a road loss against the team that people believe are terrible in the Panthers, is a perfect spot to back them.
Oh, nice. I get a plus 110 on the money line. I'm going money line.
I'm going to join you. I'm going to join you tonight. I think this keeps moving towards the Cowboys. Here. And then Spenny says, what if Terry comes back for the commies? Look, I really, you guys know, look, I'm on the under 9.5 wins for the Commanders. Now I get the chance to fade them on the road. Look, Jaden Daniels is a dog, man. I will never say anything negative about Jaden Daniels. But the idea that this passing offense is ranked 4th and the rushing offense ranked 8th, I'd rather focus on this pass defense ranked 32nd. Is there a team more equipped to hurt them than the Cowboys at home?
Nobody.
So I'm going to be moving on the Cowboys here. Now, if Terry comes back and CD comes back, it's just a wash. So let's roll. Drewski says Commanders are a better team than the Cowboys. Maybe so, Drewski, but not at AT&T Stadium. They aren't. And I will bet on that. And look, I could be wrong, but I will bet that. So All right, let's roll on. And again, one of the interesting things, can we just switch back to that graphic for 1 second? Back to one of the interesting things about the Commanders was that everybody who, like I have, Gorky and Wham Bam 3000, they were on the Commanders against the Chargers. They were betting on the Commanders. They believe in the Commanders. I don't. I was just fading the Chargers. So it was a very different situation than my friends and colleagues were doing. And I'm going to fade them again here. So let's roll on. Thank you, Jose. Let's roll on to our next spot on the board. I'm going to join Troy on that one. 4:25 p.m. Eastern with the Green Bay Packers 3-1-1, 0-1-1 on the road at the Arizona Cardinals, 2-4, 1-2 at home, State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. At this point, we don't know who will be at quarterback for the Cardinals. But my thought was Kyler Murray better get out on that field because he can lose this starting job. That's how good Brissett looked. So, I think he comes back for this. Shout out to TC in the house, just my 2 cents. So let's set this one up. We're in State Farm in Glendale. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have the Arizona Cardinals plus 6.5. The look ahead was 5.5. Then it opened up a little after midnight at 6.5, which is where it is now. So it's a pretty big number. And we just, watched the Packers not be able to cover off of a bye against the Bengals at home. We watched the Packers not be able to cover against the Cowboys on the road. The total is a 44 minus 113 to the over. The look ahead was 45.5. It reemerged to 44.5, dropped down to 44. So clearly moving towards the under. And when we get the cash flow for this one, we have 90% of the tickets and 90% of the cash on the Packers. We have 93% of the tickets on the over and 87% cash on the over, and it's dropping. Wager Detective looking at Arizona. Vincent Hawkins looking at the Packers team total over. So we have the Packers. Their passing offense ranked 5th, rushing offense 15th, red zone offense 6th. 71.4% of the time they're scoring touchdowns, being impressive. And their third down offense is the best in the NFL. It was the Eagles. They've surpassed the Eagles. 52.3% of the time they're converting. Their pass defense is 2nd, rush defense 13th, red zone defense is 23rd. Their third down defense is 6th, and their pass rush is 5th. Packers coming off a 27-18 victory at home over the Cincinnati Bengals. Noise canceled score was 29-17, so not really much different than what it was. They outgained the Bengals 240-65 in the first half. Jordan Love was 19-26 for 259 yards, touchdown, interception. Also ran 7 times for 26 yards. Matthew Golden led receivers with 3 catches for 86 yards. And Josh Jacobs manned up, man. He was battling the flu. He was throwing up on the sideline. Still ran 18 times for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. Caught 5 for 55. Packers were 6-12 on 3rd and 4th down. And they put up 409 total yards. 6.8 yards per play. 3 of 4 in the red zone. The Bengals were in this football game. They were in this game late, and it's scary when the Packers can dominate statistically at home and still just barely, stay ahead and not cover. They held the Bengals to 4.3 yards per play. They allowed the Bengals to go 2 of 2 in the red zone, and the pass rush had 1 sack and 5 quarterback hits. They also lost Lucas Van Ness, defensive end, with a foot injury in the 3rd quarter. He was carted into the locker room. Wide receiver Dontavian Wicks hurt his ankle. Javon Bullard was evaluated for concussion. He's in concussion protocol. All 3 are listed as questionable this week. Then we talk about the Cardinals. Passing offense 13th, rushing offense 23rd, red zone offense 19th, third down offense 6th. Pass defense is 12th. Their rush defense is 30th. That's a problem against the Packers, obviously. Their red zone defense, they allow touchdowns 57.1% of the time. It's terrible. Their third down defense is pretty good. They allow conversions 36% of the time. That's 7th. Their pass rush is extremely weak, ranked 27th. Coming off a tough 31-27 loss at the Colts. That's a 4th straight loss. And the noise canceled score helped them even more, 29-27. They outgained the Colts 400-355. Brissett looked great. 27 of 44 for 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Also ran 3 times for 19 yards. Zay Jones caught 5 for 79, and McBride stepped up 8 catches for 72 yards and a touchdown. Mercado got hurt immediately. So we know Trey Benson's out. We know Connor is out, James Connors. So they only had Bam Knight and Michael Carter, and they both looked pretty good. 20 carries they combined for 68 yards. They caught 3 passes for 50. The Cards were 9 of 14 on third down, 3 of 6 in the red zone. The defense couldn't get stopped, so they allowed the Colts to go 4 for 4 in the red zone. Pass rush had 1 sack, 6 quarterback hits. Mac Wilson had an interception. And that was the first game Kyler Murray's missed since 2023. So, since that big injury that obviously cost him a year. Marvin Harrison Jr. is in concussion protocol. And then they lose Travis Vokalek. Sorry. He was taken off in the cart. Pretty scary collision. He's able to move all his extremities. Taylor Demerson hurt his lower right leg, their safety. So there's a bunch of injuries here, Troy. The Packers don't make anything look very easy. I'm interested in your breakdown. Take it away, Packers Cards.
Yeah, there's too many unknowns to deal with in this spot. I thought Jacoby Brissett made a massive difference. We talked about a veteran quarterback with a significantly higher IQ than Kyler Murray has to offer. It's clear as day, in my opinion. The pressure to sack rate 9.1%, no turnover-worthy plays, 320 yards, a true pocket passer. And that's despite running the ball for only 3.5 yards per carry. Still being effective when you can't run the ball, that was damn impressive. I know the Colts defense without Javarius Ward is not the same, but I still think that Brissett is a massive upgrade from Kyler Murray. The Cardinals defense, despite allowing 31 points, I was fairly impressed with them, to be honest. The Colts offense is second to none at this point in the season, especially at home. They beat up on good and bad defenses alike, the Broncos, the Titans, the Cardinals. It really doesn't matter. So I was really impressed with what the Cardinals did in that type of spot without their starting quarterback. It was damn impressive. And the Packers pretty much cakewalked. I mean, they cruised to a 27-18 victory. It didn't look very easy, but they were pretty much in control from start to finish. Now they go on the road where they've been a completely different team. Like at Cleveland versus a great defense, they got locked up. At Dallas versus a great offense, they got exposed. I want to see this Packers team perform on the road against more of a middling average opponent like we're going to see. A team like the Cardinals is not particularly good on one side of the ball, just average on both sides. And I overreacted to Hafley and his inverted zone experiment. I overreacted watching some film. It's going to happen from time to time. He needs to use it less and mix it in with the base defense. It should be part of the scheme, not the scheme itself. I'm probably not going to invest in this game because I think we're going to see some line movement. I might have a bet in this game when we do start to get clean injury reports, but I probably will not be investing in this game. Just I want to learn more about these teams. It's a good opportunity.
So at this point, you expect Jacoby Brissett to be under center?
But like you said, I think Kyler Murray knows, like, if Jacoby Brissett has another performance like that, it says a lot about who Kyler Murray is. A guy that wants to play Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and not, plays on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah, he's in danger of losing the room. And the Packers don't make anything look easy. So what exactly would you be looking for right now if this spread? So right now we have the 6.5. If this moves to 6 and the 5.5, that's your green light to move on the Cardinals?
I'll be moving on the Cardinals.
And if it moves to 7, are you moving on the Packers or you don't want anything to do with them?
I'll probably tease the Packers in that case, yeah. But like I said, I really want to see the line move and feel it and profile it before I do. But if it moves below 6, as soon as I see 5.5, I'll buy up to a 6 and then play the Cardinals. That's one thing that I know for certain.
Coin says Green Bay has Steelers next week on Sunday Night Football. Says sneaky look ahead sandwich. Buy low spot on Arizona here. Dougie White says this might be a flat spot for the Packers. Lots to think about in this one. Lots to think about. So I'll leave the question marks here with some asterisks beside the Cardinals. And we roll on to Sunday Night Football right here on Pub Sports Radio. Join us for our live stream. We are crushing live 22-9 after catching the under 59.5. 59.5 in Falcons Bills, which closed with 38 points. 820, and that wasn't even the best number. Salty Pete got 63.5 under 63.
Oh yeah, people were concerned about that number too. I remember that before I left the live stream, people were getting concerned about that under.
Wow.
Catch with ease, bro.
8:20 p.m. Eastern, the Atlanta Falcons 3-2, 1-1 on the road at San Francisco 49ers 4-2, 1-1 at home, Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. Let's get into the line history here for our Sunday nighter. The Niners are -2. The look ahead was 3.5 and got up to 4. Then it reemerged on Sunday night at 3.5, and now we have a flat 2. Just a flat 2. So line moving pretty quickly towards the Falcons. And with all the injuries that the Niners are dealing with, you can understand why. This total is a 47, juice to the over pretty heavy. I'm looking at 47.5. The look ahead was 45.5, and it got bet down to 44.5. Reemerges Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. at 44.5, and just climbs and climbs and climbs. And part of that is the sad Fred Warner injury news, the spectacular linebacker for the Niners. But let's take a look at the cash flow then for this spot. Cash flow wise, we have 69% of tickets, 75% of cash on the Falcons, 80% of tickets on the over, at 95% of cash on the over. We have the Falcons. First off, Santa Clara, California, 5:20 p.m. local on Sunday. It's beautiful. 68 Fahrenheit, mostly sunny, 6 mile per hour winds. The Falcons passing offense ranked 29th, but we all saw Drake London catch for 158 yards last week, and we can expect Penix to get better as the season goes on, we would assume. Rushing offense ranked 10th. Red zone offense ranked 27th. Third down offense is just ranked 9th. Great to see you, Aaron. Thank you for joining us. Spenny says, so many injuries for the 49ers keep piling on now. Fred Warner, the defensive leader, tough one, but I hate the Falcons. They will find a way to mess this up. AM says he believes Kittle is back this week. We're going to go over all of that as well. The defense for the Falcons looked quite good, in their 24-14 win on Monday night. It's a short week, and it's a highlight spot on Sunday Night Football. Their pass defense ranked 10th, rush defense ranked 19th, red zone defense ranked 24th at 66.7%. Their third down defense 4th, 32.1%. Their pass rush 17th. Fireside says the Niners still operate fine with injuries. System is solid. Falcons on the short week after that 24-14 win on Monday night. They outgained the Bills 443-291. Penix was 20 of 32 for 250 yards and a touchdown. I talked about Drake London looking so good, 10 catches for 158 yards and a touchdown. But Bijan Robinson ran 19 times for 170 yards and a touchdown. Falcons were 5 of 12 on third down, just 1 of 3 in the red zone, but the defense looked excellent. Held the Bills' dangerous offense to just 291 total yards, 2 of 9 on third down. The pass rush finished with 4 sacks, 6 quarterback hits. D'Angelo Malone, D. Alfred had interceptions. Ray McLeod was a healthy scratch. So that's extremely interesting. They didn't even have Darnell Mooney, so you think Ray McLeod would be out there. Raheem called it a coach's decision and said McLeod will be back out competing next week. Left tackle Jake Matthews was taken out with an ankle injury, so we'll have to get the update there. And then we knew Billy Bowman Jr. was inactive, but their secondary did get healthier. A.J. Terrell coming back and others. AM says this line is begging for Falcons action. Let's talk about the 49ers. Passing offense ranked 12th. Their rushing offense ranked 30th. Red zone offense 28th. Third down offense 4th. 45.4% conversion rate. Their defense has been a problem. Everything but their third down defense. Third down defense has been great, but it's just, you keep losing parts. I mean, what is this line? If you asked what this defense looked like without Bosa and Warner in the beginning of the year, no one would say, well, dangerous. Passing defense ranked 22nd. Rush defense ranked 21st. Red zone defense ranked 20th. Pass rush 24th. Pass rush is really soft right now. 30-19 loss at Tampa, and they lose Fred Warner. The noise canceled score was 29-18. It's very similar to the 30-19. The Niners outgained the Bucs 363-352, but they ran 17 more plays. Purdy out. We expect him to be back this week, but we still have to kind of see what happens with the injury report tomorrow and what's happening at practice. Mac Jones was 27-39 for 347 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks, but he's hurting out there. Kendrick Bourne caught 5 for 142. He's looked great. McCaffrey ran 17 times for 54 yards, a touchdown, but he did catch 7 passes for 57 yards. He's been great there. 7-16 on third down, 1 of 2 in the red zone, but the defense couldn't get stops when it mattered. The Bucs picked up 7 yards per play. They were 2 of 2 in the red zone. The decimated pass rush for the 49ers could do nothing. 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit. So the question is, will George Kittle be back? Purdy's missed 4 games. Pearsall now has missed 2 in a row. Juwan Jennings is out there playing with an ankle sprain and 5 broken ribs. That's how banged up they are, and he's trying to show his worth. Ayuk, Kittle, can anybody come back and help this team? That is the question. Shout out to DG in the house. Great to see you, Sky Dragon. Troy Torrance, Sunday Night Football, Falcons, Niners. What are your thoughts?
Sorry for popping in and out.
It's all good, buddy.
Struggling over here.
Yeah, fighting a good fight. We're almost done, and thank you for fighting through the sickness. I know it's not easy.
Yeah, it popped on me pretty late this afternoon. So I don't know how much I should go into this Falcons team. If you watched the past few weeks, this Falcons team has played. If you watched last night when I gave a breakdown to bet the money line against the Bills, my sentiment on this team. Offensively, they got the offensive line, top 10 in both pass block, run block. They got two-headed running back monster with Bijan Algier. They got all the weapons they need with London, Pitts, Mooney, more than enough receiving options, and an elite receiver mixed in there with Drake London, and a young quarterback that's not even through one full season that I think is fully capable of becoming a franchise quarterback. And I love the mix they got defensively, too. The veteran presence in the secondary and in the second level, the young athletic defensive line with massive upside, a defensive coordinator that's surprisingly putting them in position to win. And he's making adjustments unlike he has in past years. And I want to learn more about this defense, exactly what type of coverages they're running. Because if I'm correct, and I'm not certain about this, but we're seeing cover 3, cover 4 at a ridiculously high rate. And every time I see that cover 4 defense, it tickles my twine a little bit. I love it. The 49ers, I'm bullish on the Falcons, and I'm bearish on the 49ers. I thought they'd be heading for a bear market this season, and that's without knowing that Bosa, Warner, all these impactful players are going to be out. And I get it. The operation seems sound, but how long before it falls off the rails? Shanahan, I get it. Like, he's a genius. The offense with Purdy, it's still going to be a competent offense, but how could this defense stand on its own too without these monsters? I feel like this defense is going to be a fall for grace. I think they're incredibly lucky to have the record that they currently do, and it makes me want to continue fading them. And then you look at the line, and you look at the market history when a 3 drops to a 2.5. It just makes me want the 49ers. So I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I want to see this market fully mature before making a move that I regret. And I'm just going to sit with it. The Falcons off the bye week, and they come out and they have a massive primetime win. Definitely a sell high spot. I don't think it's quite a sell low spot on the other side of things, though. At the same time, I think they still could be overpriced, being the lucky 4-2 that I think they are. So I'm going to sit and wait. I'm definitely going to have action on this game. We'll touch on this game probably 2 more times this week.
Yeah, I think that is all fair. I don't know who, if you're deep in this game, I don't know who would want to buy the Falcons after a 24-14 victory over the Bills on Monday night coming out of a bye. Now on a short week. Well, it's not that short, but 6
the same reason you continue to buy the Colts, right? Because you see a sustainable performance, and you see other people that I hear people all the time talk about. I'm not high on Penix. Penix sucks. Penix is terrible. This team ain't making the playoffs. This team's not good. I completely disagree with that sentiment completely. That's why I bet their team total over on that, one of my only futures.
Yeah, I know you're high on the Falcons. So, yeah, I think this would be a time to back the Niners, but I don't know. When they played the Rams, we said, is this the Shanahan legacy game? I do believe that you're going to see what a spectacular coach he is to be able to handle all these injuries. In saying that, I don't know if I can get to the Niners, but I'll be certainly interested to see how this all bangs out. And I want to see the injury report tomorrow. But the Niners are a dangerous team at home, and injury-riddled teams can be dangerous at home, especially if they get 1 or 2 guys back to spark hope. Drewski says Bucks going to win the division again. I do have that, but you guys know I added to my Buccaneers futures on Saturday.
Another thing I do want to say is I noticed that this was 2 consecutive home games. Now, the only reason I didn't bring it up because there was that bye week that kind of separates the two. but maybe that's even more reason to be bearish on this Falcons team. So I definitely see the angles for the 49ers getting healthy, sell the Falcons high. They haven't proven they could do it on the road. There's definitely reasons. I'm not 100% like betting the Falcons in this case. I'm still open to moving on the 49ers. I just want to see this market mature.
Digging says Falcons have only had 4 double-digit wins in the past 4 years, and they're 0-4 against the spread after all of them. Yeah, I'm interested. I'm with you guys. I'm interested in the sell high spot on the Falcons. So
I know that one of those spots, I can remember last year, they had a primetime game, just very similar to this one late in the season. They were playing the Commanders off. I think they beat the Giants the week before that. They should have covered that damn game. Went to overtime. They didn't cover. They were 4.5-point dogs. I was on them heavy.
what do you think of this total at 47 or 47.5? It's high, but then you would need these Niners defense. You'd need a Niners defense to get stops, and we didn't really see that against the Buccaneers late.
We would need them to hold up in the red zone, is where we would need it. Because we should see the Falcons be able to move the ball, but now those safeties start creeping down into the box in the red zone. I don't know.
All right, let's roll on to Monday night. We have the Monday night doubleheader. One game at 7 p.m., the second game at 10 p.m. Let's start with the 7 p.m. on Monday night. Join us for our doubleheader live stream right here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 5-1, 3-0 on the road at the Detroit Lions, 4-2, 2-0 at home at Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan. Let's take a look at this line history. We have this total at 53. Open the look ahead was 53.5. Closed to 52.5, reemerges on Monday morning, 11 a.m. at 52.5, climbs a half point to 53. So that's our situation in Tampa, Detroit. Take a look at the point spread here for this one. From a spread perspective, we have Detroit now minus 5.5. The look ahead was 4.5. It came out on Saturday. Sorry, it came out on Monday at 12:57 p.m. at 4.5. Moved to 5 and the 5.5. So we've had a 1-point move towards the Detroit Lions. DG says, the great game on paper, but don't love anything. Detroit team total under if he had to. Drewski says the Lions smash, and Wager Detective on Tampa Bay plus 4.5 here. So, yeah, John, it's too bad. But yeah, those situations are so crucial. And, I want to fade the Penguins so badly, but can't after a 6-1 loss. So let's talk about the Buccaneers first. Passing offense ranked 9th, rushing offense 16th, red zone offense 23rd, and third down offense 14th. It's when you watch them, you think it's a really good offense. Now, obviously, they're dealing with a bunch of injuries. Now they've lost Buka too. Passing defense is 15th, rush defense 16th, red zone defense 28th, third down defense 15th. So of all of these stats, pass rush 12th, there's only one spot there in the top 10. That's their passing offense, which is ranked 9th. So it's now we're watching a team that's 5-1, that's 3-0 on the road, and Baker Mayfield's a junkyard dog, willing his team to victory, and so it's an interesting spot. MMA Locker Room has Baker over 1.5 passing touchdowns here, and the Bucs come in off a 30-19 home victory over the injury-riddled Niners. Noise canceled score was 29-18. Baker 17-23 for 256 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Ran 3 times as well for 14 yards. Cameron Johnson led receivers with 4 catches for 64 yards. They're beaten up out wide right now. And, of course, they don't have Bucky either. So Rashad White back as RB1, 17 carries for 65 yards, touchdown. He caught 3 for 21, 7 yards per play, 2 for 2 in the red zone. Held the Niners to 7 of 18 on 3rd and 4th down. Pass rush beat up on the Niners, 6 sacks, 10 quarterback hits. Vidor and Jamel Dean had interceptions. So no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin. We'll have to see with the injury report tomorrow if there's a chance for them to come back. No Bucky Irving, no Emeka Egbuka in the second half, and they still take care of business. So Evans has the hamstring injury, Godwin the fibula injury, Bucky Irving foot and shoulder. Then you also have Josh Williams concussed. A cornerback, Benjamin Morris, hamstring, and Zion McCollum, thumb. They're both cornerbacks were inactive. And then they lose their right guard, Luke Haggard, to a shoulder injury in the 4th quarter. Brady says, how is this line at 5.5? Only way I could look is the lines. This line makes no sense. TJ says the world is way too high on Tampa and too low on Detroit. Yeah, No, I agree with all of this. But the Buccaneers seem to be more than the sum of their parts, and can stay in football games and get a late touchdown if they need one, despite all the injuries at wide receiver. Let's talk about the Lions. Passing offense ranked 11th, rushing offense ranked 20th, red zone offense ranked 4th. A wager detective looking at the plus 4.5. Digging says Bucks 10-0 as non-division road dogs. Spenny says we might see 80 points in this game. Third down offense for the Lions, 17th. They convert 40.3% of the time. Their defenses look great. Pass defense, 6th. Rush defense, 5th. Red zone defense, 24th, which is a problem. They allow touchdowns 66.7% of the time. Their third down defense is 20th. They're allowing conversions 40.6% of the time, but their pass rush is second, which is impressive. The Lions coming off a tough 30-17 loss at Kansas City. A noise-canceled score was 34-23. Goff was 23 for 29 for 23 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Jameson Williams caught 6 for 66. Jameer Gibbs ran 17 times for 65 yards. The running game did not look very good, and that's a rarity. The Lions were 5-11 on third down, but 0-2 on fourth down, just 1 of 2 in the red zone. The defense couldn't get stops. They allowed the Chiefs to go 4 of 6 in the red zone. Pass rush finished with just 3 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, and this Lions defense is banged up. You have DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold and Avonte Maddox all inactive. Those are 3 cornerbacks there. And then Taylor Decker with a shoulder injury, was inactive as well. Take it away for us here, Troy Torrance, Monday night doubleheader, game 1, Buccaneers-Lions.
I love this spot for the Detroit Lions, and I added to it since we started the show. So I moved on the Lions double result at plus 120 at Bet365. I have now since added the Lions-Browns money line parlay at plus 136. And if the Browns, for whatever reason, don't win that game at 12 p.m., at 12 on Sunday afternoon, I will move again on the Lions. And I would not be scared of taking the spread, because the history of this line, this market against a quality team that's coming in on the road, is blowout city. We're talking winning by margin. The Lions in this market environment, blowouts just across the board. Any number you can get 6 or below on the Lions, as long as it don't get down to 3, is a great spot, in my opinion. I think the Lions are going to be absolutely pissed off coming back home where they're extremely comfortable, where Goff covers at a 69% clip, off a loss where I think the Mahomes really took advantage of the defense with a catch and release, really exposing the Lions' lax defense and really taking away their strongest asset, which is their pressure, their ability to depend on their defensive line to make plays. At least 6 of the completions and a ton of yards came off catch and release, just a catch quick pass from Mahomes. I don't think that's Baker's MO at all. I think the Lions are going to be, as you would say, Jimmy, a powder keg. I trust the offensive line to generate line yards and move the ball. Skipper looked great at left tackle. I trust Goff to pick apart a zone in a zone blitz scheme. I trust the D-line to generate pressure on Baker. And I trust what I've seen from Robertson and Yasin to be at least competent or average in the secondary, with underneath coverage helping from the linebacker position. Baker's been elite. There's no doubt about it. I don't think it's not his MO to do what Mahomes did versus this team. I think the scheme that Reed and Nagy deployed was incredible. And maybe Baker does it. Maybe Baker does it again. I just backed this Buccaneers team this past week. I had 2 units on them. But I just think it's time to fade them. They're 5-1. They're going on the road and they're catching a massive number. Makes no sense. This must be bet. Lions double result. Lions Browns money line parlay.
What did you get on Lions Browns money line parlay?
Plus 136.
I think the Lions double result's a great look. I think I would like to join you on that, and I expect to. Digging says Lions 11-0 against the spread off a straight up loss. Wow. I'm going to join on the Lions double result. I feel like that's the easiest way to get there, just in case. I mean, if the Buccaneers are down 10 points and have the ball late, we can assume Baker's going to go down and score a touchdown. So I don't really want to be in that situation. Am says injury riddled Bucks team. Egbuka gone, Bucky gone. Lions off a loss. Yet the books opening this 4.5. Says books want Lions money.
Books want Lions money? You mean books want Bucks money?
No, he thinks that the opening line was set up for people to, he thinks that they set it up low at 4.5 so that people would bet the Lions. But
well, Egbuka gets replaced by Evans. Evans was out last game with the same injury. They opened at 3.5 at home against the 4-1 Niners.
I agree. I think that the Buccaneers are 5-1, 3-0 on the road, and it's a big number. But there's different ways.
Everyone's going to be betting the Bucs. Any model, any person, Joe Schmo, my chat, my college buddies, they're going to be on Baker.
54% of the ticket, 64% of cash on Baker here. So I like it. I like the line spot.
Action has 77% of bets, 76% of cash on Baker.
Yeah, I like it. I like where you guys are at here. Makes sense. That is the Buccaneers Lions. Let's move on to game 2 here, our final game on the show. Thank you guys so much for supporting us here at Pub Sports Radio, 10 p.m. Eastern. This is our second half of the doubleheader on Monday night. Texans 2-3, 1-2 on the road. Seahawks 4-2, 1-2 at home. We're at Lumen Field in Seattle, Washington. 53 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 2-mile-per-hour winds. Line history-wise, Seattle is a 3.5. The look ahead was 2.5. It emerged on Sunday night at 3 at a pick'em and immediately started getting bet. The 3 was -110, moved to -116 to -125 to 3.5. Since it's moved to 3.5, the Texans have taken 8 cents of cash. Let's take a look at the total here. This total is a 40.5. It's been dropping. Look ahead was 42, and it reemerged at 2 a.m. on Monday at 2 a.m. at 42, and it's already dropped a 1.5 to 40.5. So it's a big move there. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for our final spot on the board. We only have side 68% of tickets on Seattle and 62% of the cash. Lumen Field. So these Texans passing offense 18th, rushing offense 11th. The Pro Football Focus ratings. Red zone offense 21st, scoring touchdowns 54.6% of the time, and their third down offense 26th, converting 35% of the time. Their pass defense ranked 24th, rush defense ranked 7th, red zone defense 22nd, 63.6% of the time they are allowing touchdowns, and their third down defense 8th at 36.1%. Their pass rush is 3rd. They are the 3rd ranked pass rush, and they come in off their bye week. So, they open up 0-3. They've now won 2 games, and they look good doing them. 2 blowout wins. Got their first shutout since 2010 in that win over Tennessee 2 weeks ago. And then 44 points is a franchise high for this team in that big win at Baltimore. Stroud has looked really good. It is his first year with Nick Caley, and it took him a while. 6 touchdown passes and no interceptions in those 2 wins. If you looked at those first 3 games, he had 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So he's coming together. They're all coming together here. And the offensive line is the issue. They only had Titus Howard returning. They had a 5-time Pro Bowler and Laramie Tunsil gone. They, have a rookie second-round pick in Ursery at left tackle. And Stroud was sacked 8 times in his first 3 games. So he's been sacked just 2 times in each of the last 2 games. And it looks like they're improving. Joe Mixon looks like he's going to be gone all year because of the foot injury. So, Chubb and Woody Marks have to step up, and they've been doing that. This defense has been solid. Will Anderson Jr. is an absolute monster. You have a secondary that's very, very good. Stingley ranks 1st. Stingley as a cornerback, you got Jalen Petrie, Stingley back there. It's very, very tough. They allow, at this point, 12.2 points a game. They're ranked 3rd, allowing 265.8 yards a game. It's a very good football team. Well, the team is rounding into form to be what we thought they could be. So that maybe very good football team's a little much. Then we have the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks have the number 1 passing offense in the league. They're the 6th ranked rushing offense, 8th ranked red zone offense, 22nd ranked third down offense. Passing defense is 20th, rush defense 6th, red zone defense 7th, third down defense 17th, pass rush ranked 11th. Coming off that 2012 victory over the Jaguars in Jacksonville. Noise canceled score was 25-18. Seahawks outgained the Jags 346 to 273, but they were just 1 of 12 on third down. Darnold did not turn the ball over, 16 of 27 for 295 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks. 1 of 12 on third down. This third down offense now ranked 22nd in the league. Jackson Smith-Njigba was great. 8 catches for 162 yards, touchdown. The running game struggled. 26 carries for 60 yards, 1 of 3 in the red zone, but the defense looked excellent. 7 sacks, 17 quarterback hits, held the Jags to 4 of 16 on third down, 4 yards per play. Didn't allow the Jags to run a play in the red zone. But Jaron Reed, defensive tackle, injured his left leg in the fourth quarter. Now, he's not on the injury report. But again, 3 starting defensive backs were out, and they handled it great. Julian Love out, Witherspoon out, Tariq Woolen out. All 3 are listed as questionable. Here we go. Troy Torrence, game 2 of our doubleheader. Texans, Seahawks, take it away.
This is another spot. This is another spot. I love this spot. I love this spot. And it's crazy because I've backed the Seattle team 5 weeks in a row. And it's time to zag on their ass. The Seahawks haven't seen a defense like this all season long, where all 4 down defensive linemen are top 10 at their respective positions. Good luck trying to generate line yards against and move this ball on the ground efficiently. If you can't run the ball, the play action, which Darnold depends on heavily, will be much less effective. You got a secondary with 3 blue chips, Petre, Stingley, Lassiter, and it's misrepresented by their PFF grades. And, my only explanation for Stingley's PFF grade, which is pretty low on the totem pole, is they know they have an elite pass rush. They're overly aggressive, which means the grading of how they perform is probably off color because he's not giving up passes that would deem his PFF grade to be so low. I've talked about my love for the Seattle team almost every week. I just think it's going to be a wake-up call against this Texas defense. The Seattle strength of schedule is bottom 10 in the NFL. Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Arizona, New Orleans, Pittsburgh, and San Fran. Mike McDonald is a head coach, 10-1 straight up on the road, only 4-8 straight up at home. Is the 12th man still a thing? Is Seattle still having home field advantage because it seemingly does not exist? This defense is tough. I mean, they held the Rams to 14 points, the Bucs to 20 points, Jacksonville to 17 points. They shut out Tennessee like they should have, and they held Baltimore to 10 points. And I think a Texas offense that looked better and looks better after every week that passes. I'm on the Texans plus 3.5.
I like the look here. Texans plus 3.5. I like the under too, but it's moved pretty briskly towards the under. Now we're down to a 40.5. We're getting low. The move through the 3 didn't concern you. You took it as an advantage, and it seems like sharps have, because when it moved to 3.5, it was at 7:12 p.m. on Monday night. It's taken 8 cents of juice since then. So talk to me about the move through the 3 not being one that concerns you.
The move through the 3, because I'm on the Texans, right? It moved in my favor through the 3. No, did it move through the 3? I don't see a move through the 3. I see it open at 3. No,
It was a
10-12.
Well, it was a 2.5 look ahead, and then it reemerged at 3. The 3 was slightly juiced to Houston when it reemerged. Then the Seahawks minus 3 took 20 cents of movement, 20 cents of action before it moved to a 3.5. Now, I imagine this will be a 3 in 18 hours.
Yeah, I don't think it's closing at 3. But if it does close at 3.5, I'd honestly be shocked if we see that close at 3.
And concerned.
I'd be concerned, yeah. Actually, we've never seen an open at 2.5 close at 3.5 ever. We've seen a few close at 4.5, and it's a 1-1 ATS situation where the home team won by 16 and then lost by 14. Huge splits, and Seahawks were involved in one of these games against the Steelers. Pretty interesting.
I have a 3.5 that's flat right now at 365, minus 110 each way. What do you have right now?
Yep. 3.5 minus 110. That's what I bet it
at. Brady says Seattle could have their entire defense back this week. Coin says see lots of under 41, Circo, Westgate, Caesars, BetMGM. What do you think of the under in this one?
I wanted to bet the under in this one, but my problem is I don't think either team's going to be able to really run the football effectively, which means I expect a lot of passing, which means I expect a lot of punts or big plays. And now I think the total just got a little bit too low. I'm not saying I don't like – if I had to bet it, I'd bet the under. Market history would suggest the under's the side.
I think it's probably nice to have that 3.5 in your pocket with the hook here. Birdie says Houston is not allowed one team to go over their team total this year.
Yeah.
But Dougie Wise thinks it's an over. Interesting. I like the under, and I kind of want the Texans at this 3.5. And if it closes at 3.5, we'll be concerned. But if it moves to 3, which is our expectation, you will be very thankful that we got the hook. That's the plan.
Correct.
We have
Jimmy.
3. Yeah.
Jimmy, go ahead. We can finish this one up.
3 at DraftKings and a 3 at Hard Rock. 3.5 at other books, but 41's around. I know you are battling right now, so let's put a bow here on the show. Review, Troy, your action for Week 7 of the NFL season.
I want to just say that I did post my action into our Discord, the Pub Sports Radio Discord, under the NFL section. I also posted something there earlier where Tua Tagovailoa talked about what's going on in the Dolphins locker room. Another reason that makes me incredibly bullish on the Browns. He talks about how guys are not showing up to team meetings. Guys are showing up late to lift. Guys are showing up late to practice. Go check that out if you're considering betting the Browns, because that'll help get you there. So for me, my action, I got the Bengals in the Thursday nighter +6 -120. Jaguars, Rams under overseas 45. Browns -2.5. I did bet 2 units on that at -115. Those are gone. Browns, Lions, moneyline parlay +131. Eagles, moneyline -125. Jets, beautiful bet on the Jets. Nobody wants them. That means we want them. +108. Jets +8. Colts +8. Teaser -120. Cowboys, moneyline +110. Lions, double result +120. And the Texans +3.5 at -110.
Troy, you are the man fighting through the sickness. Go rest up, and thank you for all your hard work. I'll put a bow on the show here, go over my action, say goodnight to everybody. Thank you for all your hard work and battling through it today, my friend.
Thank you, brother. Post Sports, man. Best damn show on the internet.
There we go. Our guy, Troy Torrence, in the house. I will review action here. I come in with 4 bets. I wonder if the look ahead should probably, I guess we want to wait for the Wednesday injury report because the Chargers play again on Thursday night against the Vikings. I wonder if it's how early we want to bet that, but we shall see. I have not moved on the Thursday nighter. I'm going to move on the under in Rams Jaguars. Is the 22.5 first half under 2 low? I don't think it is. I think I double up there. So that will be a planned maneuver. I'm on the Browns -2.5, -115. I'm on the first half under 20.5 and the full game under 40.5 and Dolphins Browns. Then I like the Titans. I'm surprised at that. Now, I don't know if I move on it tonight. I also like the under in Patriots Titans. I will be studying that tonight. Again, I put in I make a bunch of bets this evening. But I saved, I only made 8 bets last Tuesday, and I made 10 more from a Friday until kickoff, and we went 14-5. It was a great week, and I wanted to stay hot. The next spot for me here is I'm interested in the Jets. I really am. It's hard saying that. But I do. Then next up for me here as I go through the notes, I moved on the Colts on the look ahead. That did not work out for me. I got the -110. I'm moving on the Cowboys this evening. I have interest in Arizona, but I'm going to let that market sit there for a while. I'm not rushing to do that. I'm interested in the Niners. Again, I want to hear some good news coming out of the camp because they've got a lot of injury issues that they're dealing with. Then I'm going to move on the Lions double result tonight. I like the under in Houston, Seattle, and I like Texans +3.5. And that is my action at this point on Tuesday. And we have all week to work on it together. And I look forward to doing it. Coming off a perfect week in the Cappers contest as well. Tied with Morgan Spooner here in second in the Cappers contest, which is a fun spot to be in. But we got to keep the gas pedal pressed down. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. Big thank you to our producer, Jose Bouquet, who works tirelessly behind the scenes. And I'm excited about the NHL work we did on the Peter Loshak show today. It's pretty exciting. All of this is pretty exciting. I'm just very inspired working with all of you guys, and the want. My hockey coach when I was 12 years old, Harry Story, was a cop, and he would always say, "You gotta wanna, and I wanna so bad, and you guys are part of the reason why I want it so bad. Thank you guys, Sky Dragon, Mark Stasowski, We Do, Harold Williams, Aaron Gaza, Ziggy Balls, Wager Detective, Peanut, Dougie Wise, D Jenkins, Kripke, Sancho, Harold Williams, TJ, Luke, Burrow, Smoke and Mirrors, Digging. You had excellent notes. You were on it. Huge help. Kripke, thank you guys. Gorky, Birdie, thank you guys so much. Truly, thank you. On behalf of all of us at Pub Sports Radio, let's keep fucking winning. Let's keep winning. Working together to defeat the book. Sometimes it takes a village. And I love this village. Let's go out there and get that cash. Let's milk these bookies. Leche! Hey, los bookmakers, milk that shit.